Tonight, premiere week on Green Flag TV caps off with a brand new league here on the channel. The Mystic Racing League presents the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by Tier 1 Setup Shops. It's going to be a great night here racing with the B car on iRacing with this brand new league. Happy you're along for the ride. I am Derek Watson, joined side by side with Jacob Kohler. Got Christian Hill pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good down in the production truck. Well, Jacob, here we are, the World Center of Racing. Nothing new you and I are going to say about this track that someone hasn't heard before, yet it's every person's dream to win at Daytona.
100%. There is no bigger prize. There is no bigger track, save for Talladega, but that's a little bit more niche. But there is no bigger prize in not only NASCAR, but all of motorsports. This is one of the most prestigious tracks in the world for a reason.
Yeah, you know what? It's that track, isn't it? With every kid has a dream, whether it's being the pitcher or the batter in World Series Game 7, the Super Bowl, or winning at Daytona. Just matters what sport you prefer. Here's the track facts, Jacob. 2.5 miles, 4 corners, obviously. Opened back in February at 59, 60 miles an hour, or 96 kilometers. You prefer that on pit road. And there's that banking, Jacob. 3 to 31 degrees.
Oh, yes, it is very, very steep up there. Going to put a lot of stress on those tires, especially with the temperatures that we're looking at today. And each of those laps is going to be 2.5 grueling miles. Be prepared to see some serious tire trouble out there.
Some serious racing all the way around. 120 laps on the docket. I believe we have a moment. We can take a look at the schedule if we have that lined up here. So we're at tonight here at Daytona for the season opener. Then we kick off on our regular Thursday schedule. That begins this Thursday, February 5th. You see Phoenix, Vegas, and Coda of your first 4. So really 4 tracks of 4 varying degrees of difficulty and skills on the schedule.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you another pick that I really like for this schedule, Chicagoland. Chicagoland is very based. There's one of the more unique cookie cutter tracks that are available to race in this kind of car, and it has always led to good racing. So very, very much look forward to that February 26th race. Definitely going to catch me some of that.
Yep, I see some other fun there. Portland's down there as well, so lots to focus on in this schedule. Right now, I think it's time to take a look at tonight's starting grid for this race here at Daytona. So we'll take a look here at the pole sitter. That's gonna be Tommy Ryan with his 50.667 in that 99 machine, next to the 3 of Jeffrey Ryan. P3 goes to Gavin Hinson in the 39. He'll be next to Zach Davidson back in P4. P5, Michael Cole in the 43 is next to the 77 of Zach White. The 04 of Luke Barnes is in P7. He'll be next to Tyler Stevenson back in P8. P9 is Adam Holston, and he's in the 48, and he is next to the 1 car of Zachary Keene, Jacob.
And then bringing up 11th, we've got Michael Wade, and then bringing up 12th, we've got the 81 of River Hayes. Coming at you at 13th, we've got the 41 of Joey Beam, and then he will be followed closely by the 51 of Morgan Cook in 14th. Coming in at 15th, we've got Caleb Hunt in the 19, and then the 34 of McCoy Bank. And then we've got Brandon Willard in that 54 machine, followed closely by the 00 of Wesley Lynch. Joshua Gillen brings up our 19th spots, and then Joshua Thornton will round out our top 20 in that 25 machine, Derek.
Moving up to P21, we'll see Hunter Rose next to Devin Curl, P21 and P22. P23 belongs to Justin Miller with Isaac Brock back in P24. P25 is Chad Allen, and next to Alex Pollock, back in P26. P27 is Aaron Brom, the former Division I college football kicker. He's next to Brad Nelson back in P28. P29 is Harold Tucker III. He's next to Derek Jewett back in P30.
And then we've got the 17 of Dylan Brumley bringing up 31st, and then 32nd we've got Christian Barnes, that 27 Domino's machine. And then bringing up 33rd, we've got the 88 of Jacob Cochran, and then Reggie Kime will be bringing up 34th in that 9 machine. The 67 of James Sturdivant will be bringing up 35th, and then in 36th we've got the 18 of Sean Merriman. And now in 37th we've got Devin Lyons, and in 38th we've got the 59 of Trevor Hunt. coming at you fast, but not last. In 39th, the 999 of Race Control, and then the 11 of Douglas Wysocki, who is somehow behind that one.
That's how they lined up here after qualifying. However, in this format, only 36 cars get to race. 4 cars went home after qualifying. That's James Sturdivant, Evan Janik, Devin Lyons, and Dylan Brumley went home. They will not make the race here at Daytona. Look at the time and weather on the bottom of your screen. Virtual sim time is set to today, January 31st at 3:05 p.m. Therefore, so we're going to race completely in daylight. You can see that track temp there for being daylight in Daytona. Jacob, that's kind of cool, 75 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, definitely not as bad as I was expecting, especially for that Florida Beach area. But looking like the track conditions are going to be in these guys' favor today. Definitely looking forward to, as well as that sunny weather. Hopefully the clouds don't decide they want to rain on our parade, so to speak. But it is Florida and it is Daytona, so that could change in the flash.
Definitely could. All right, we'll have you along for the ride here on Green Flag TV. Going to do a quick reminder. There's stage breaks in this race. They enter the end of lap 30. End of lap 60, 2 stage breaks, and we'll go all the way around to the end of lap 20 or overtime if needed. I hope you're ready to have some fun racing in these B-Class O'Reilly Xfinity Grand National, whatever you call them, cars, because we are this time by. The pace car pulls down the left-hand side. It's going to be in the hands of our pole sitter Tommy Ryan with Jeff Ryan on the outside. Wait for the green flag. It is out at Daytona.
And look at that. Looks like Ryan down there on the bottom, that 99, got a very good start. And remember, those restarts do go on the leader, except for the first one, which is on the green flag. And it looks like Ryan down there in the 99 had a quicker reaction off the jump.
Side by side, with the hands marching in 2 by 2 through turns 1 and 2. All seems good on this restart so far. No notes from race control. We're ready to go green. We are green, and we're down the back straight for the first time.
Absolutely, and again, keep an eye on that high line, especially coming off of those corners. You know, it's one of those things that makes Daytona special. You get that tiny little bit of downhill speed, and that can cause that line to get a big run if they can stay organized. But that is the trouble. Staying organized on that top line is so difficult. You can already see some guys falling behind up there.
In fact, you can already see some movers up and down the field just through the first lap. Some drivers up and down the field, some up going down one. The first lap is done. It's Tommy Ryan leads the first lap of the season here for the Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by Tier 1 Setup Shop.
Man, look at that. We had two. Oh, hang on a second. That 39 of Gavin Hinson had his bottom tires on that yellow line. Can't get too aggressive, especially on that part of the track, because that has a different grip level than the asphalt. If you go too far down, you're going to find yourself spinning in a hurry.
Looking down back to the Chevrolet here for Ryan on the bottom. Now that top lane is gaining momentum. That is being powered up here by Jeff Ryan up top, and that blue car, that blue number 3. It's, I guess, pretty iconic to see the 3 at Daytona. The Mountain Dew sponsorship maybe a little different than what we've seen before on that 3 car.
I don't know if you remember back in 2018 when Austin Dillon won that rain-shortened race all those years ago. Man, it's hard to believe that was 8 years ago now. He was in a very similarly colored car, so maybe fortune will smile upon Jeff Ryan as it once did Austin Dillon.
Oh, look at that car, third back in line, that 77 car. That, I guess you would call it that Splatoon color scheme car. You ever played the Nintendo game Splatoon? The green, that's not words. The green and the purple. Oh, we got a car in the line.
Yep, that's not good. Not sure who that is, but I'm not sure what the rule is going to be. I think he's just going to have to get this one out. Looks like he is going to be able to get back in, but he is going to be rough. That is Michael Cole in the 43 car, and he has lost a bunch of positions off of that error. Not exactly sure what sent him down there. Maybe it was an ill-timed block. Maybe it was an ill-timed blue. We got another one below the yellow line up there. Not sure who that is, but rest assured, in 3 laps into this race, make it 4, these guys are taking no prisoners.
Well, look right behind Michael Cole, though. Look at those 2 paint schemes. They're almost identical, Jacob. I think Cole fell back on purpose. I don't think anyone's sitting him down there besides him. I think he fell back in the pack to find that teammate.
I think he did, and so far so good. You know, he's providing that draft, giving him that nice little bit of slipstream, that gap that he needs to get back up to the front of the pack, because it looks like they're kind of like the separating area between these 2 packs that are developing. Rarely do you see this in super speedway races nowadays. Most of the time it's just one big pack, but if you remember back in the 90s and when these cars were back in the Generation 4, there would oftentimes be multiple packs on the track. So we got a nice little view of pit road right there, but you guys can see things are starting to slow down in this part of the track.
Yep. And speaking of slowing down, it's also worth noting you mentioned that, we mentioned, sorry, the stage brakes are so big wreck. Oh, look at the tri-oval. That's going to be your first caution, and that's going to end the conversation of gas strategy. But 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 cars involved here in this wreck.
Yeah. And that one already coming away with some front bumper damage. That is absolutely diabolical at a track like this where aerodynamics is so important. I believe the 81 also has some front end damage. It's hard to tell from this angle. But oh boy, that did not take long.
Nope, certainly did not. I guess it's going to be probably just one bad bump. We'll see in the replays when they get loaded up here, Jacob. One bad bump will probably walk us through, I'm going to guess, the epicenter of this wreck if we ever find it. See, people are still kind of getting scattered around. And here you go, Jacob, walk us through it.
All right, so you can see that 77 is loose up there, but I don't think that's where this has come from. No, he does. He knocks into the 16 right there.
There it is, yep.
16 gets loose, and then he gets tagged by the 1, and it is just on from there, and the 16 slides hard into that inside wall and goes spinning like a Beyblade. And you see other guys are just getting tagged trying to avoid him, and oh, what a hit! He took right in the rear from the 95. My goodness. And you got another one sliding into the inside wall down there. It is absolute carnage on that front straightaway.
You said like a Beyblade, and that's what the 16 did.
Yeah, smacked together like one, that's for sure. But again, that 77 just losing track of how much he's going down to the bottom. If you're looking in, that's one of the consequences again of mirror driving. You can only look in one direction at a time, right? Most of the time, that should probably be forward. Again, we're so early in the race that if you lose one position to just because you didn't block in time, I don't think it's going to be that important. Certainly not worth throwing your car away over.
So here's a good news, bad news scenario. Good news, for instance, it is a super speedway. These drivers do have a fast repair available to them to fix these cars. The bad news, a good number of drivers just burnt that fast repair on lap 6 of 120.
Sheesh, that is a long time to go.
Right here, watch this.
Damage. Oh wow, what a view that was. That guy just phased into existence in front of him. What was that?
I mean, we get a little bit of damage from that rear end hit, but I mean, all things considered, for Cole, who fell back, I think he lucked out. Remember, he fell back 2 laps ago, so maybe he knew something.
Yeah, it's possible he had knowledge from the future. But we'll see how the rest of his race goes for him. Great job avoiding that accident there for him, and we'll see who decides they want to come to pit lane. Looks like we've got a couple of takers so far. We do indeed. Looks like the 51 is going to be the one to lead us down. We've seen a lot of incidents down here in the past, but this is a pretty wide pit road, all things considered. We got one staying out back there, so hopefully we can avoid any incidents today.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We'll see what we can avoid. Everyone's going to down pit road. Remember, we were just about to talk about the 70% fuel tanks. That would have limited drivers in this stint, or in this stage, pardon me, of how far they could go. But I think now after pitting here on lap 7, I think all bets are off for this first stage.
Yeah, definitely. With this kind of sets the precedent for how the rest of the race is going to go, right? There's one of two ways the super speedway racing goes in online leagues. Either it's just going to be an absolute slogfest of caution after caution after caution, or it's going to be green till the final 2 laps. And I think this sets the precedent for what we can expect to see here tonight. Not saying that's what we're going to see, but it is definitely now much larger of a possibility. And I think these guys are preparing for that.
I would agree with that. I think it's probably a fair assessment. You know what? Let's see what the drivers are thinking. Let's just queue up a driver. Let's talk to the driver currently running in P6. Let's see if I can get Joshua Gillen up here. And we'll walk him in the first person into the broadcast booth. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, I can. Let's go ahead and welcome in Joshua Gillen into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Josh, we're under caution for the first time, only about 6 laps in. What's kind of the tone? What's the atmosphere down there on the track so far?
Man, these cars, I don't know, man. It's just, they're side to side, swervy. I don't know if it's just certain people or just all the cars. I see a lot of swerving and it's making me nervous.
So would you say the word down there would be aggressive?
Way too early, like always, yes.
One thing that I was going to ask your opinion on this. There's a lot of differences in the A car and the B car in terms of the rear aerodynamics, specifically the spoiler. On this car, the spoiler does not go all the way to the edge of the fender. Do you think that's playing a factor in how the cars are handling out there?
Honestly, I believe so. It's just, you can do a lot more with these cars than you can with the A class. But it's just, it seems like it's a lot more looser as well.
But it was still a lot of race left to go. You're currently running up, I think, in P6 last time I saw timing and scoring. Is it just your goal to be up here all night long and just hopefully avoid the ruckus?
Be honest with you, I'm just hoping to survive, honestly. I'm just here for fun. I don't want to ruin nobody else's race, but I also want to make sure I put a good show on for y'all and anybody else that's watching.
All right, well, I hope that as well.
Nice.
Listen, let get back to your team. Good luck the rest of the race, and maybe we'll see you later in victory lane.
Be awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, that is Joshua Gillen. He is the driver there of that number 10 car you saw on your screen, and you see the sort of the onboard look there with the driver's suits. There's a nice look down at that. That's a second Mountain Dew scheme in this race.
It seems to be, definitely seems
I
to be.
don't recognize that Mountain Dew.
Baja
Midnight.
What?
I think
Have
I'm
you
doing some
ever
Googling of the next auction. It's fun to see. Listen, I love purple as a color, so I'm sold. Like that car right there has done some work to get me to be curious.
I don't know. You're talking about his paint scheme. I'm looking at his helmet. Did you see that helmet his guy was wearing?
The bright green?
That was a sick helmet, the one with the skull on it. That's freaking.
Oh.
Look at that. That is awesome. What a freaking awesome helmet, man.
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice. I saw the green suit, and I was like, oh, the green suit. Okay, got it. All right. Well, I think it's just about time, just like the drivers get locked in here. We are double wide through Daytona, which means we are about ready to go again here soon.
Yep, unfortunately, we did not get eyes on the choose cone, but to just let all the ladies and gentlemen in the audience know, the choose cone is right before the start-finish line, and any driver who is not serving a penalty is allowed to choose it as they go by for the second to final lap. And as we are getting ready to go green, we are still locked on, but remember, you can't change lanes till they cross the start-finish line. Looks like the top lane got a jump, but oh my goodness, look at that 3-car of Jeff Ryan. He has gotten off to a zooming start.
Unlike our first start, the Ryans are now front to back, so they're going to push each other with the 3-car of Jeff up front, the 99 to Tommy on back. So let's see how this goes down through turn 1, and that top lane has some massive gaps in it.
It certainly does. It's like I was talking about earlier, right? That top lane can be faster. It can be better on fresher tires and when fuel is not a concern, but you have to stay organized, and that's the difficulty, right? Staying organized. We see guys phase in and out of existence right there. But still, Jeff Ryan and Tommy Ryan have done a fantastic job leading this race so far, and I think what we can expect to see is that 99 hop out to block off that top lane if they manage to get organized, get running.
We'll see who makes the move and when. That's part of the fun of Daytona, is that mental game you play of when you make the move and how you make the move. We'll see how it comes there. The 3-car leads this lap under green with 99 pushing. Then you got on back a side-by-side battle. That's going to be Zach Davidson and Luke Barnes side-by-side for 3rd and 4th. And they're on back from there. But I like that top lane there, Jacob. You know, within the iRacing service, a lot of people believe that 4 is the magic number when it comes to drafting. You think more than 4, you kind of start to create that accordion effect. You kind of start to have checkups in your line. You get people who are impatient. 4, a lot of times, is the magic number. So that smaller lane up top may benefit more than you think, except for now they think they're free wide back there. So we'll put a pause on that talk and come back to it. But yeah, that car up top is falling back quick.
Oh, yeah. I think he was expecting the guys behind him to hop out and get in line with him, and that is the exact opposite of what happened. That's the thing about starting a new line, right? That's why whenever you see these guys get single file, it's so difficult to get that second lane started because one guy's going to hop out, and then if he doesn't have any help, it's all over for him. So it's very difficult to convince people, but it looks like that top line's starting to get a run now as that 0-1 is starting to look on that quarter panel of Tommy Ryan.
Yep, there you see Tommy Ryan's back view, and you see the cars on back, and you see the top lanes getting organized in the back, but they're still a little off center, and there's such nuances to this race, you know. And I really do get annoyed, Jacob, when people refer to this as a you know, luck racing or all that other stuff, because there's so much skill at Daytona. One of it really is about doing your best to stay in line. Every time you move that car an iota back or forth, you see that green car 3rd line doing, you're effectively killing some form of that draft here.
And you've absolutely just touched on something that I think is one of the most underrated aspects, not just of plate racing, but just of racing these cars in general, right? Plate racing is the ultimate test of a driver's awareness. How do you know, how in the world are you going to be able to tell as they get a little bit squirrely right there? But it's all about how you can tell where everyone around you is based off instinct. You guys are all inches apart for the whole race. You have to be super aware of what's going on around you as a driver, as that 0-1 is squeezing them down to the bottom lane as hard as he can. Zach Davidson is getting aggressive.
Certainly is. He's certainly trying to use that side draft, trying to slow down the 99 and help create a better run for his lane. And now he's up almost to the leader. Ooh, bit of a door bump, but I think we're good. And now he's almost up to leader. Their side, oh God, the 99 is loose.
What a save! Oh my goodness, that car was going sideways for sure. Tommy Ryan hangs on, and he's going to hang on to third place as a result. Look at that. That was beautiful.
Say what didn't hang on though, and Wisey was to put the rest of the field, both lanes backed up just in case something did happen there. You see a small gap at the bottom, you see a bigger gap up top. People were brake checking and trying to, avoid what was inevitable. Turned out it wasn't there.
Yeah, but that could have been absolute disaster. But that was definitely a correct play on those guys behind's fault. Anytime you see things starting to get out of hand, you immediately slow down, right? It is not worth throwing your race away to try and pick up a couple of spots from a crash. Luckily, we were able to avoid disaster, and as a result, we'll keep racing. They round turn 4, coming back to the start-finish line for the 14th time, and Jeff Ryan is still in the lead, putting on an absolute clinic here today.
Yeah, I think he probably would have maybe had given that up already to the other cars, the Luke Barnes and the other, but what happened when everyone wiggled, I think it kind of killed that top lane run a little bit. He'll still get there eventually, I think, but it's going to take another lap or two. And boy, that really does point out the dangers of side drafting. One of the things that is a very hot topic within the iRacing service, and how much do you want to do it, when do you do it, because it's purely a risk versus reward kind of scenario.
Absolutely. And another thing is, like, when you put that level of air on one side of the car as opposed to both, it can be difficult to control, especially if you're not expecting it. If you're not watching how close you're getting to somebody's fender, that could easily throw you off, and your handling could get janked. Next thing you know, you're flicking the steering wheel, and then you're into somebody's rear bumper. So it is absolutely something that you have to watch out for whenever you're doing it, especially at this speed. Looks like Jeff Ryan went up to block Barnes for just a moment there.
That blocking is going to get you eventually. That only worked so many times before. It may not. The other thing to talk about these cars, and you kind of hinted at it during our interview, is these cars do not line up perfectly. These cars are not flat on the front and the back. So within these cars, within the B-Class, Xfinity, the O'Reilly, whatever you want to call them, bump drafting here is a little bit more treacherous. You can't just lay on somebody. You can't get up there and bump and lay on it. You'll turn someone around pretty quickly here. So I think that's why we're seeing a lot of movement through the field. You get a small bump, and it really will offset your car and make it a little unhappy.
Absolutely, and I think it's actually the inverse of the way that it works with the A-Class cars. These B-Class cars, the Chevrolet has the flattest front bumper and the flattest rear bumper out of all of them, probably. So those are the ones that you see that are doing really, really well at pushing and being pushed. So you see those Chevrolets in that bottom line. They've been leading this whole race, and I think that might be a big reason why.
So it looks that way. So now we're getting things kind of settled in. Lap 16 of 120 here at Daytona. And you see now just basically for the most part 2 by 2 the whole way back. Remember, this stage ends at the end of lap 30. Stage points handed out this year in the Caswell Glass Company Series. We're using brand new NASCAR, I guess the returning NASCAR chase format. So no playoffs to worry about. Stage points is added to your points, I believe, or how we're going to figure out who does and doesn't make the chase. But still, I mean, those points matter. So I wonder if we get maybe on lap 25 or so, if things get a bit more frantic.
I think they might, honestly. Every single point matters, and honestly, just being able to say that you won something, maybe not the race, but just a leg or a stage of the race, that is bragging rights in and of itself, and these guys are here for the love of the game. Make no mistake about it, right? So I think they're just going to do it just because it's something to race for, right? You give these guys a lick of anything to race for, and they will kill each other over it. So that is what we can probably expect around that lap 25 range. That high line is starting to get a little bit disorganized. These guys got to get recovered if they want to have a chance to win this stage.
Yeah, it does look that way. Here's Zach Davidson looking both forward and backward, kind of seeing how things are rocking back and forth. And all appears to be mostly calm for the moment in the field. One driver, by the way, is well off. You can see on the ticker going by every now and then. Caleb Hunt is lost the draft. He's now 30 seconds back off the field. So the question I keep running in my mind, we were running, what, 48-second laps here in the draft, Jacob. I keep wondering if that car is going to be in the way before the end of the first stage.
It probably will. Hunt is probably going to be in the way, but as long as he stays high and just stays predictable, it should not be an issue. Obviously, this is a can be a 4-lane racetrack if you guys are really steady, but generally speaking, as long as you stay on the high side. If he stays on the bottom, though, trying to catch a little bit of draft to try and stay in this thing, man, that could definitely cause some problems. We'll just have to see how it goes. Meanwhile, Zach Davidson jumping out to that top line, and he is now going to be making a gun for the lead.
Yep, that 01 car is now the front car leading that top lane on around. He's now side by side with the second place car, trying as hard as he can to catch up to the cars led him. I think every lap since the caution ended in the 3 car of Jeff Ryan. And there's that car we talked about. That's Caleb Hunt up front. So in a moment, everyone's going to make a decision here. Who's going where? And then the first thing that has to be made is a decision is where is Caleb Hunt going, right? Is he going to go top lane, bottom lane? And honestly, as long as he picks a lane and sticks there, it doesn't matter where he goes.
Absolutely. That's 100% something you have to keep in mind when you're being lapped, especially at a place like this. You have to stay predictable. You can go high, you can go low, you can go on the line, off the line, but as long as you stay predictable, let other people drive around you, you're going to be A-okay, and I think that's exactly what he's going to try and do here. Things get a little shaky there, but the first initial cars make it through without a hitch.
So far, all is good. And this will be a nervous moment for the field. They see that Caleb Hunt car is sort of up right in the wall. He's trying to stay up there and just trying to stay up, in his mind, you know, stay out of the way of the field until at least it gets back to 2 wide. And I think all is good. Looks like he's made his way through. So he'll now be, I believe, the only, well, no, he'll be a lap down along with one other driver. So we'll see who does get the lucky dog when the caution flies at the end of the stage.
If he can manage to catch the draft, everybody else is so far behind. You've already got guys there 2 and another lap down. He might actually potentially get it as long as he can stay where he's at. These guys are getting very, very aggressive, swerving all over the place. They got to keep these things steady. We've got one going up high up there. Is he going to lift? He's going to try and get back underneath. That's Zach Davidson up high. And he will get back in front of that 04 of Luke Barnes. But as a result, the high line has lost so much momentum, and we are already have 10 to go in the stage.
Yeah, tick, tick, tick. Time is quickly ticking away. See, another car has already went ahead and ditched that top lane. Now it's 3 cars right there connected. 1 car is trying to catch up to it. It's the 27 I see on the side of that car, trying to catch up to it and make it a 4-car draft. But right now, the 01 and the 04 and the 39 are trying their best just to keep up momentum at the bottom lane.
Yep, and so far so good. They haven't fallen all the way behind. Oh, we've got more lap traffic. Hang on. We've got more lap traffic. Now what happens? It's going to stay on the bottom. They're going to go up to the 2 top lines of the track. So far so good. I don't see any smoke.
Oh, there's the contact. There's the wreck.
We've got 2 hard on the outside wall, and it is a big one. 6+ cars involved here at Daytona, and the 16 takes another huge lick. Caution does come out with 9 to go in the stage.
Wow, that's the danger of a lapped car being on the bottom. One small wiggle created calamity. Oh boy, there's Michael Cole in the orange car. Saw him earlier. He might be okay. I think that car might have been sideways from getting back up on the banking. But there's going to be some majorly damaged cars here in this wreck here on lap 22.
Yep, and I don't even think that the lap car here was involved. I think that just somebody just got a little bit scared. Oh yeah, he starts sliding up the track, and it's Hunt in that 59. Tries to give space, but there's none left to give. Puts the 9 and the 1 in the wall. The 81 gets up on its 2 front wheels, and then another one back there hard into the outside wall. That is the 33, and it is just absolute carnage from there. Everybody's trying their best to survive. The 8 gets tagged, 51 into the outside wall.
10.
Oh, rough.
Yeah, so we're about to not even done with our first stage. We'll go back green before that ends, I'm pretty sure, but we're going to see a lot of fast repairs used here in the first stage of this race. You see there's some big different amounts of smoke. The lighter smoke is indicating some tires getting, darker smoke indicating some engine failures. And it has broken loose at Daytona. So pit road is open. I'm thinking, see, 4 cars with required repairs, or we call them meatball flags, and I can think use that in real life racing as well. We use them in iRacing called meatball flags, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's always super frustrating, right? Especially for those guys in the back. When something happens 10 cars ahead of you and you're just collected in it and there's nothing you can do, I mean, it's like Darrell Waltrip said, there's no place for him to go, right? And that's always so frustrating. But just use that fast repair, put new tires on the thing, get ready to go out and get as many stage points as you can and try and stay in it for a good finish today. That's all I can tell those guys.
You can hope for. So, all right, we're going to reset the field here in just a moment after we come past the start finish line and see where we do line up here. See if anyone else wants to take a trip down pit road. We think gas would be good, but they might be lining up for the second stage. In fact, there's both Rhines, the 3 and the 99 down pit road, as I believe was Luke Barnes as well. As the 3 cars just all pulled off. So they're going to give up stage points here, possibly give up stage points with only a few laps to go.
Very, very interesting. Well, it's like you were saying earlier, right? With the cars being on 70% fuel, it's entirely possible that if they haven't pitted yet, which I don't think they have, they may not have the gas to make it. So could just be a precaution. But again, with them not having enough fuel to make this stage, how does that set them up for the next one? That does not look doesn't look good for them if they're going to have to pit first as well in the next stage. We'll have to see how things go from here.
Well, with the next stage being at the end of lap 60, the only thing you can kind of say for it a little bit is it's going to be shorter than this stage because of the caution laps. So we'll wait and see how that does play out.
Well, assuming there's no cautions in stage 2.
Correct. I mean, even if there is, it's still going to be shorter just because of the yeah.
Oh, we're hearing that there is a potential incident on pit road here. Somebody who was not damaged now just received damage. I believe it's that 81 car, and I think it might be the rear bumper.
I think maybe the engine is finally kind of tapped out.
Oof.
A little late, I think, is what I think happened here. Well, let's figure things out, and wow, this is going to be a lot. See what happens in this replay here. Oh! That's it. 34 just had a moment. So here's 81 coming down pit road, Jacob. Watch this.
So far. What?
Oh,
he's just sitting there.
Wow. Holy
and he nearly backs into the 15.
That's going to be, by the way, the 81 of River Hayes and the 34 of McCoy Benke involved in it. So,
I don't even think that's his stall. I don't see his number anywhere. What is he doing?
It's just pit road. It's not anyone's stall. It's fine. What was he doing?
Did he miss it?
Wow. I think he did. I think he missed his stall. Let's see. The 34 qualified P18. So likely missed his stall.
Oh.
Yep. There it is. We're pitted right there. So he missed his stall. Was probably waiting for traffic to go by. And, well, he found traffic.
He certainly did. That sucks for the 81, man. Oh, man.
I mean, kind of. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's still sitting there. Like, I get what you're saying, but the 81 still saw him sitting there. Like,
yeah, true. You can always go around another lap and pit again. As unfortunate as that is, it does avoid the damage. So, but Zach Davidson, your new leader here. He's been up near the front all day long. Got a bad fast car, and he is looking to take this stage without any prisoners.
All right, well, we're going to restart here and then hopefully finish the stage under green. Let's walk you through your top 5. It's Zach Davidson, Derek Jewett. That's the 45 car. Then you got Adam Holston. These are the only 3 cars not to have pitted in this race, by the way. Then your top 5 after that is Christian Barnes, who won in the Truck Series last night. I do believe. Let's see if that's going to update here. And then Luke Barnes. So we'll see how this all lines up here once we get everything on around.
I wish we had a gas gauge graphic. That'd be kind of neat just to see what kind of gas everybody is on. Because like you were saying, if they don't have the fuel to make it, if they're trying to stretch it all the way out so that they can pit at the stage break and have enough to make the next stage as well, there's going to be a lot of tension there. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
I think the top 3 for Davison, Jewett, and Holson, we're looking at just them wanting to get these stage points. And the pits will open again under that caution. So I think they'll probably pit there and finally get their gas. But then 2 cautions in, I think everyone probably safe on gas without pitting, but we'll wait and see what happens here. So pace cars down. No matter what happens here, this will end your stage, either green or caution to the stage break. Let's find out as it's in the hands of Zach Davidson.
Yep, it goes on him. He's going to slam on that accelerator, bumper to bumper, rail to rail here towards the end of stage 1. 5 laps to go, and they are ready to duke it out.
Boy, you saw a wild bump on the top lane, but that sort of aqua green or seafoam green car up top got a little wiggly right start finish line from the bump it received on back. But here they are, 2 by 2 through turns 1 and 2. 5 to 5 to go here. Let's see who earns the stage points at Daytona.
I'm very, very nervous here. Everybody's kind of swerving around. You can see Ryan has already made his way back up to the middle of the pack right there. My goodness, that was fast. He's already up to 14th, and he was one of the first guys to go down pit road. So, you know, definitely kind of reflective of how that team's performance has gone tonight. Derek Jewett leading that top line, trying to get some momentum off the high side of the racetrack. That top line has got to stay organized if they want to have a chance at this.
That's Derek Jewett up top. That's Zach Davidson on the bottom. And right there at the line, it would have been Jewett by just a little bit. And right now, they're still side by side. Those lanes are forming. The time is running out. We're now on lap 27, ending on the end of 30.
Yep, and with 4 to go here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody try to start a third lane. I would not be surprised if someone gets a run in the middle of that pack and jumps out into the middle, because they're leaving it wide open right now.
Yeah, it does look that way. In fact, there's one car that thought about it, and that yellow tinted car is going to go from the top all the way to the bottom. He'll get back to the bottom and try to find that draft once again. So here we go through the corners. Does anyone have the move? We'll wait and find out. What do stage points mean to you? Well, it's about for you to show your cards and let us know. Cross the line that time, it would be Davidson. So they've crossed it back and forth from where it was the lap before. Now working lap 28, and it's interesting. Oh, hold on, there's a car way wildly loose up top, hitting the wall, slowing it down, and we're gonna stay green for the moment. Whew. Boy, there's more contact at the bottom. Side by side we go, working only about 2 or 3 laps to go in this stage, and everyone's now getting a little antsy. The movements are getting bigger, Jacob. The tension's getting tighter, and the gaps are getting closer. So we're on through here. We'll get Jacob back in a second. A little bit technical difficulty with the frozen screen, I do believe. We'll get him back in a second. We'll keep you through. There you are.
Yes, sorry. Internet decided that it would be a great time to keel over and die, so had to figure that out. But as we see, Derek Jewett is getting very aggressive on that top line, and Zach Davidson is going to try and not give him an inch, being pushed by that 48 of Adam Holston. And remember, when it comes down this lane, it's not about the guys in front of the lines, but it's about the guys directly behind them as the high line has a scuffle. Looks like we'll see Luke Barnes overtake that 27 of Christian Barnes, and now that's going to lead to the high line losing momentum. Zach Davidson, I think if he can keep the 48 behind him, just locked himself up a stage win.
This is it. White flag. We'll go one more time around in stage number 1. It is Zach Davidson up front, Adam Holston at 48's in P2. Derek Jewett, is in P3, and that bright bluish colored Q car on the top. Does anyone have a move left in them? Does anyone make it 3 wide? Do we make it around? Are all questions we have to find out about 1 1/4 laps, or 1 1/4 miles.
Yep. And at 48, Adam Holston, he's just going to try and stay in that draft, try and stay as low as he can. We've got 1 below the yellow line, manages to keep it together, gets back up onto the track, and now as we see them come around 3 and 4 for the final time of the stage, the 45 has a little bit of a fender, but he's rapidly being caught up to. He's going to climb down the track.
Contact. Oh, here it comes to the line.
It's going to be close.
Wrecking on back. It's going to be Davidson at the line for the stage win, and we'll need to wrap it up. And wow.
Yikes.
Caution is out. I guess you could either call it for the stage break or the wreck. But regardless, stage is over. Zach Davidson wins the first stage.
Yes, he does, and in exhilarating fashion. You see the 48 of Holston get turned sideways right there at the end, go sliding through the infield. I'd be curious to see if anybody got any damage, but for the most part, it looked like a pretty unremarkable accident, all things considered. And now these guys are going to have to get down to pit road as soon as they can to avoid running out of gas.
Yeah, that will be your next challenge, won't it? Right, riding around till pit road's open for Davidson and Jewett, and seeing where they can line up here.
Yep, you better shake that steering wheel, son. You got to get all that gas sloshing around in that tank. And the pace car does come out. They are ahead of it here. So I'm not sure what the plan is, but I think they are just going to try and wait till pit road opens. Man, what a finish it was, though. It went right down to the wire. Sorry, I just, my brain froze there for a second, but man, what a finish it was.
It was a great finish. It was a great finish. It was really to the line. You have to wonder if the wreck didn't happen, if either lane could have pushed harder, and what would have happened from there. So, all right. Let's see. Everyone's going to come down pit road this time by. I would suspect no surprises. At least your front two will be down here. But Jacob, now our second stage a little shorter because of these caution laps. So your next stage actually green's on about 26 laps. So I think they could probably come close to making that under green.
I mean, it's definitely plausible, but again, it's one of those things, right, where it's going to depend on how many cautions come out. It's going to depend on how many repairs people are going to have to use. If we can run the whole stage green, I definitely believe it's going to be possible for sure.
Pit road is open. Full sail pit stops underway. Now, typically you don't see a lot of tires taken at Daytona. The tire wear at this track is not that big, but in these cars, when it takes longer to put a full tank in than it does tires, you'll see drivers sometimes just opt to do it just sort of out of habit.
Yeah, I mean, can't really say I blame him, you know, especially whenever you practice on this track all, you know, for all week leading up to the race. You're just so very used to putting 4 brand new tires on there. It becomes muscle memory, and that's one of the big things that gets a lot of people is just muscle memory, right, when it comes to driving a certain car, driving a certain track. So got to be careful with what you're selecting in that menu. Oh, we got somebody with damage. That's not good. Oh. Who is that?
That is the purple Yahoo car of Devin Pearl. I think he was just involved in that last wreck at the line, just kind of driving it around.
Oh my gosh!
That car is beat up.
He was missing a right front wheel.
Yep, that's going to be his fast repair, so that is done. So mark yet another driver off the list who needs to ride around here for another, what, 80-some, 90-some laps. You see him just riding around just with that big puffy smoke. Yep, there's his. That's the wreck.
Oh.
So here's the wreck at the line, by the way. We were so focused on pit stops and what happened. Let's watch this, Jacob. This is the wreck that happened at the line a little bit deeper in the view.
You see the 45 just kind of come down, and that's going to force a big move. Oh, no, it's the 04, and then the 48 gets tagged by the car behind him into the 4, and now it's just on from here. Guys are going low. They're running up the banking, and it is just over from here. 15 into the wall, into the 2, tags the 54, into the 39. 25 into the outside wall up there. 2 hits the inside wall hard. Oh, 39 goes spinning. More contact between him and the 51. 15 and the 39 hit again. It is no good.
All right, let's watch this. This will be further back. You can see the wreck here from this perspective. This is the onboard view. This is from Aaron Baum, by the way. Whew. Ooh, looks good so far. Checks it up a little bit. Oh, never mind.
Just nowhere to go.
My God.
Oh my gosh. I bet that freaking hurt. Holy moly. Wow. But yeah, he took the only lane that he could. He didn't speed up, but he didn't slow down, and you know, just trying to ride that in between right on top of that yellow line. It's like I was saying, there's different levels of grip on the other side of that yellow line, and that can cause you to lose a little bit of control. You saw him swerving there for a second. So, but it seems like he's all good now as we see him come back round one more time.
So up front, we are double fouled. That indicates we are going to go green this time by. Lights on the pace car are out. So here we are at Daytona on lap 33. We'll go green on lap 34 with the stage ending at the end of lap 60.
Very, very, very excited. So we'll be bringing it up with 28 laps to go in the stage as we hit the green flag here. And then it looks like leading the pack on the bottom is that 04, and then on the high line is going to be that 51.
Yep, so some interesting cars, a couple new names towards the front, I do believe, here with Isaac Brock's up there. Luke Barnes is up there now. We'll see what new names can emerge up here. Another new name up here is Morgan Cook, by the way, up in P3.
Yeah, Morgan Cook, and again, we saw the 81 take that damage from the 34 on that pit lane fiasco, and they're both inside the top 7. So, you know, good on those guys for making their way up the field here.
All right, well, here we go. Let's try it one more time. The pace cars are going to come down yet again out pit road, and we'll see how long this can stay green. Happy along for the ride. Let's wait for Luke Barnes here and see when he steps on the loud pedal. That's when the green flag will drop.
Looks like he's already on it. And again, the 51 reacting on the outside. That high line's a little bit more spaced out, but make no mistake, they definitely are not giving this one up without a fight as they go into turn 1.
Down through turns 1 and 2, they're going to be this time, but still mostly side by side. Top bottom lane is a small bit of advantage. We'll watch the run out of the corner here. I bet we see that top lane start to move here. Only 6 cars deep. That may benefit them, and that top lane is looking to take the lead here into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like they might have the momentum to do so. 51 right there just has a little bit of momentum. He's going to lose it going up the hill on that high side, but he's going to get it back going down. Let's see if Isaac Brock here has enough in the tank to push that 04 out front. Looks like it could potentially have enough. He will lead the first lap of the stage.
Yeah, the problem that top lane is going to have is that car that's 5th in line, that car that's blinking with a little bit of an internet connection problem. Every time that blink happens, Jacob, it's killing just a smidgen of that run for drafting the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys that are phasing in and out of existence, 100%. Not only that, it just messes with you mentally, right? Because if you're behind or in front of that guy, it's like, okay, I don't know when this guy's going to be here next. You see it happen again right there. That just mentally weighs on everybody in the field and causes everybody to be a little bit more erratic in their decision-making. And it's just another factor these guys have to worry about. So we'll see how that affects the field moving forward.
Morgan Cook, by the way, the Canadian leading the top lane. Well-known iRacing producer, a 2-time Daytona 500 champion, and even a Coke 600 winner across iRacing. So well-versed in we call it A cars, or I guess now we call them the next gen or the Gen 7 cars, but I do believe is a rookie here in the Caswell Glass Company series. So trying out these B cars, and hey, when you can lead the top lane for a while, you must be doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's an impressive resume no matter how you slice it, and he's definitely proven his worth here today, all the way up into the lead on this top lane, just barely staying behind the 04, but something tells me it won't be much longer.
No, probably not. I would have to suspect as well. That 81 car back there, River Hayes, trying to give some pushes, trying to see what they can do. Remember, pushing is tough in this car. We hinted at it earlier. It's hard because you can't push forever. You can't lay on this car. You have to kind of give a bump and back it off.
Oh, trouble! We've got too hard into the outside walls. They come across the start-finish line, and almost the entire field looks like it's wrapped up in this thing as they go through the grass to try and avoid it. The 45 is around, the 10 is involved, and we have a mess on the front straightaway.
Yeah, we do. And I think this is going to be the first time tonight when we're going to see some drivers just outright have to retire. That 10 car has been involved multiple times now. I suspect they're probably out of fast repairs, and we'll see wherever else lines up here. That was in the 45 of Derek Jewett, I think we saw turned around a second ago. Yeah. So we'll wait and see what the cause of this was, but I think this may be our first retirements of the evening.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's just been using up their fast repairs so early in the race. We've still got so much longer to go. We could see a 20-car field by the end of this thing if this keeps up, and we'll see exactly what happened. It looked like that car just went below the yellow line, back up the hill, and into everybody else. And River Hayes and Derek Jewett. Oh, man, you see that hood flying up into the air. My goodness.
Yeah.
And just driving into the wall is the 82. Yeah, definitely just a lapse in judgment right there as he takes himself out of the race, so to speak. And you're going to see it again here. This the 21 just mental lapse in judgment, gets right onto the quarter panel of Jewett, and
I'm curious if we watch that from if maybe we watch that from the front view of Jewett. I wonder if there's a contact between Jewett and that carpet head that gets loose on below the track. I'm curious. Oh, there's a piece of a hood. Well, up in the air. I'm curious if there's some kind of contact that makes that car kind of, move down the track, or if it's just a loose race car. I mean, who knows? Let's see if we can find out here what's going to happen before we talk about all that. And there's a big wall hit for the 82, pardon me.
My God, those particles! Holy moly! And he gets hit again. Look at that. He's off the ground.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Watch this here. This is what I'm wondering about. Watch this here from Jewett's point of view. Watch the car up ahead. Is there any kind of bump here is what I'm wondering about. Nope, he just got loose on his own to the bottom and then went on from there.
He tried to give. There was no more left to give. He had another car on his rear. He could not afford to brake check, especially at a place like this. Just nowhere to go. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, both metaphorically and, well, literally.
Literally.
The track is made out of rock. So, and then the 82 gets loose on the in the grass. Just, oh my gosh, that is a hard driver side hit. Gets hit again and again. And something tells me that his day is done.
Yeah, I suspect there's a few drivers now. So look across the grid here. Some cars already a few laps down, already at the bottom of the grid here. Brad Nelson is already, I think, 17 laps down at this point. Michael Wade, 10 laps down. Reggie Kime, 7. Gavin Henson, 6 laps down. So those cars are likely all done for the night. There's a slew of cars currently 1 lap down. We'll see if those stick or not. But yeah, again, I think this is about to hit our first retirement point of the evening.
Yep, and we are a third of the way through this thing. Not even, right? So this is definitely going to be an endurance event in more ways than one, as we'll see who not only mentally is able to take on the toll of running 120 laps, but which car is able to manage to run 120 laps in these conditions. Because remember, racing is not just a test of drivers, it is just as much a test of the cars.
Speaking of that, we're going around here under yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to step aside for some moment. We're going to hit a couple commercials, and we'll be back before anything goes green. You will not miss a moment of this race here on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here with you at Daytona under caution here, working at lap 40 in the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by Tier 1 Setup Shop race here at Daytona. Derek Watson, Jacob Coleman with Christian Hill pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good down in the production booth. And well, Jacob, it's had some moments of exciting racing, but it's had some moments of chaos and calamity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are 40 laps into this thing, and I think we've already seen 4 cautions. That's 1 every 10 laps. At a place like this, that adds up quick, especially considering everybody's only got 1 fast repair. And you see, as you were saying earlier, we've got several cars already more than 1 lap down. So this is going to be an endurance event in more ways than one. Pace car lights are out, and they are rounding the final corner for the final time.
That said, let's wait and see how things go and see if we can get this thing green to the end of the stage. Pace cars made the left-hand turn down pit road. It'll be in the hands of Luke Barnes. He's our leader. He'll step on the gas pedal, and the green flag comes out from Barney the Flagman.
Absolutely, and those top 2 cars didn't change after that last caution. It's everybody else behind them that did. So, but that top line did not get a great start right there with 20 laps to go in the stage. They're going to have to get organized in a hurry, let somebody jump out in front of them.
Yeah, it does appear that way, but look at that big gap in the bottom. The 41's got a big gap there to the 54. That may be what breaks that draft. Let's see if it matters here as you come down the back straight.
It looks like they're going to get a little bit of momentum up there on that high side. Looks like, oh my goodness, it's still so hard to tell with the 48 blinking in and out of existence. That is definitely playing a factor on who wants to make what move where. But again, we saw that 34 car just in a rough spot on pit road, and now it's McCoy Bank. He's all the way up to 3rd after that mishap on pit road. He is definitely driving himself a good race right now. Yeah, driving himself a great race. He's some blinking and some connection problems still the key tonight, but up front there is Morgan Cook. That's a lap lead for sure for that green car. Morgan Cook up top. In fact, they're now a full car length ahead of the bottom lane. They're going to stick to the top of that push. They're getting from that red, white, and blue number 40 machine as we come around here out of turn number 2. Yep, he's going to get a little bit of momentum here off of the high side, and I think as soon as he gets the chance, we got one below the double yellow line back there. That's very interesting, but I think as soon as he gets the chance, we're going to see Morgan Cook dive down to this bottom lane, try and get in front of that 04 car as soon as he can.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens here side by side. They still are through the corners. That top lane only has about 5 cars connected, but they are pushing their way on through. They're having a successful run, pardon me, as they've got Luke Barnes and others here on the run. And at the line to be close, if that was the race, I think it would have been Cook that time at the line.
Yes, it would have. Was ahead by about half a car length right there. And again, this is just where we see, right, when you're going up the hill, the top line does not have the advantage. You see the bottom line already gaining ground. But when you're coming down the hill, like so, you see that top line start to get a big run. That is going to play a massive factor as we go into the later stages of this race. And that's also going to depend on the temperature of the track. We see less and less people running this top lane. It's not going to be as warm up there as it is on the bottom. That could potentially play a factor in tire wear as well.
All right, so I have to ask you, put you in the driver's seat for a second, Jacob. We've had a number of wrecks so far. You're possibly out of a fast repair as of this moment. As a driver in that mentality, does it affect how you want to drive? Does it affect your ability to want to sit up front? Are you more inclined to ride in the back now?
Honestly, in the back, not necessarily, because I want to be at least somewhat near the front when things go down. Honestly, that's just my opinion. But one thing that I'm prioritizing as a driver in this situation is staying on the bottom, right? You might lose track position in the short term, but when it comes to cautions and caution-heavy races like this one, right, it is always easier to go uphill than it is to come downhill, because everybody in an accident, especially on a track like this, is going to go up into that outside wall if it happens in a corner. And if you're up there, there is going to be no place for you to go. I'm staying on the bottom because that is where it is safest. That is how I'm preserving my car for this race.
Another popular driver opinion. Everyone has their preferred lane. Some prefer the bottom so they can see that yellow line and kind of use it as their guide, if you will. Some people prefer the top lanes. They think they can make more moves. Some people, as Jacob said, they prefer the bottoms. They think they can avoid the wreck a little easier. So there's about 100 different opinions on which lane is best at Daytona, and we'll wait and see who rides what lane to victory here in about 70-some laps from now in a little bit. Having a nice solid run. Morgan Cook's leading that top lane on around, and I believe that is going to be Joey Beam pushing Morgan on around, and that's a 00. That's not Joey Beam. I apologize. That's Wesley Lynch pushing Morgan on around.
Yep, that Joey Beam is in that 41 car down there on the bottom. We haven't heard his name or seen his number a whole lot today. He's made his way up to the front as they start slithering like a snake down in that bottom lane. That's another thing that I've noticed about these guys in the way that they're driving here today. It seems that everybody's very paranoid about staying in that dirty air too long. I don't know if it's a setting that they've turned on in this particular league or what's going on there, but it seems like everybody's just very paranoid about staying in the draft too long. Don't want that engine overheating, and definitely want to get as much clean air in there as possible.
Well, those engine heats are definitely our concern. You can't blow a motor, and I've seen it happen in the middle of the pack numerous times across my iRacing career at Daytona. So you do have to be aware of, how well tucked up you are, and those lights will begin to blink in your dashboard. And when you get to that point where you need to back out, and you see a car up top, by the way, that's
Holston, isn't it?
Is Holston, I believe, 48, yeah.
I don't even think he has a slow car. I think he's just one of the ones that's been blinking in and out as we've got more trouble. 41 is around into the outside wall. We've got 2 in the infield. He makes contact with a 43, and there are more spinning below him.
Oh, boy.
Oof.
A couple avoidances, but I think we're all good after that wreck wraps up.
Yeah, minor accident, all things considered. Looks like the only car with some real damage is going to be the 77 and the 41, although we do have one smoking below him. Couldn't quite catch who that was. But Joey Beam, we were talking about him earlier, getting all the way up to the front. First time we call his number, and then he goes around 2 laps later. Very unfortunate for him.
Very unfortunate indeed for Joey Beam. We'll wait for the replay to load up and see what did happen here, and here it comes. And, well, that's the pit wall. There's the race.
Nice. All right. We'll see they're coming off at turn 4 here. Everybody's getting a little bit squirrely, and Beam goes low. And I see what happened.
The 8 car came down.
Yeah, well, the 8 got into the car in front of him, and then they both came down as a result and just took out Joey Beam and the car behind him.
Yep.
And
Alex Pollock in the 8, by the way.
Yep, Alex Pollock got into the back of, I want to say that's the 88 car. Looks like he's just going to check up at the wrong time. And it's like you were saying, they're not centered. You can't push when that happens. And he pushed. 88 gets away. 41 does not.
That was an odd push. Like that, something about that's not not right. Either the 88 lifted or something weird happened. There's no reason why you catch someone that quickly, that fast in the middle of the trial. I mean, I know these cars have a draft and they have a pull, but something about that felt abnormal. I'm not sure if maybe the 88 lifted for what's happening in front of them, but that whole sequence felt a little off.
Yeah, it's just very poor timing, I think. I don't think anybody did anything maliciously,
right?
But it's definitely a case of poor timing. And like you were saying, I think the 88 did lift. If he didn't lift, then he definitely brakes because he was backing up and
shifted or something.
Yeah. And again, the 77 gets tagged by the 19. Hunt, who's already had a hard day out here today, gets drilled in the back, and then hard into the inside wall, gets tagged by the 82 for good measure, just to make sure that he knows where he's at, and it is Daytona.
So for the record, if it helps determine, this is going to be... Sorry, I was going to say, just to confirm what we're talking about, that race control has determined that the 88 is at fault for that wreck. So the race control determined the 88 is the cause of that wreck. So, yeah.
Man, and he got away with it scot-free, too. Barely any damage on that 88. That was such a nice gap that was opened up by the spinning of the 41, and he just slid right through it. And, it's unfortunate, but, that is a part of racing, right? That is just the way that it goes sometimes. And we are going to be coming up on lap 50 here shortly. We've got 5 cautions already.
Yeah, we're racking up the cautions pretty quickly, aren't we? Let's do this. We have a couple of drivers tonight who have submitted webcams for viewing. And in fact, one of them I think we can grab for an interview at the same time. So let's grab Zachary King, see how his race is going. Let's go ahead and move him to the waiting room and then bring him on in. And he just, you know what? I actually see, I don't want to do that. I can see from his webcam that he just stepped away.
Oh, nice.
So that would be a bad idea to bring him in. Maybe let's bring him in and yell at him. Zachary? No, we won't do that. Hey, the benefits of technology, sometimes they have a valid use. Well, when Zach is back, we'll pull him and do an interview and see how his race is going. He's last I looked, he's a lap down or more. I think he's on pit road getting some repairs done.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy how far technology has come. You show something like this to somebody who lived in 2010. I mean, you absolutely blow their mind, right? How far we've come just in the broadcasting business. Well, the internet was still relatively young in 2010.
It wasn't. No.
Okay, fair enough.
Us old people. Yeah. No. The internet was a new thing in the 90s.
Fair enough.
Back in my day.
Go back to your RuneScape game, buddy.
All right, you know what? Never played RuneScape. All right, well, let's do the. Let's actually, now we can talk to Zachary King, because now we can see from his webcam he is back at his seat. Zachary, welcome back, or not welcome back, welcome into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. A pretty rough night so far, I guess, for you and your car.
Yeah, the Meatball Motorsports thing is bad loop. We've done a great job. Obviously prepping in the offseason to make a fast race start for me. But been a really rough race. It looks like all the wrecks are happening on the exit or in the middle of the tri-oval, which is making a lot of sense because these cars do get really light in the tri-oval, and these cars are already light enough as they are. It feels like that one Daytona 500 race for a couple years ago, where all the Hendrick cars were wrecking off of turn 4. And that's what it feels like inside the car. Just wicked loose. The dirty air, I've never felt dirty air at Daytona. But yeah, it feels like I'm pushing dirty air on people. I'm getting dirty air dumped on me. Every corner is different. It's never the same. But yeah, every turn is literally is completely different every single lap. So it's kind of hard to master it and try to get to the front and try to avoid all the wrecks. But trying to hold on to it. We already did a fast repair. Already used a set of tires. So we're just gonna keep trying to ride around back here, and try to make it to the final 30, and then find Christian and go to the front.
All right, well, so good luck, and we'll let you get back to it since you're one to go, and we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Zachary King. And the dirty air, you brought that up, and Zach sort of confirmed it. There's a lot of dirty air happening on this track, and Zach said it never feels the same.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might be some kind of setting or some kind of bug maybe that's affecting either the server or whoever the organizer is. Whatever the case may be, these guys are swerving in and out of line so much because of it, right? It's like you were saying, you do not want to get that gauge blinking, because if it's blinking, you are already done. It's just a matter of time at that point, right? So geez, these guys just got to be very, very careful.
Curious, the info screen for the weather.
I'm not sure if the weather would unless it's very humid out. Would that be a factor?
Well, we do have a 12-degree mile per hour wind as well. So I'm thinking that may be something they're feeling inside the cars. But well, the stage is not over. In fact, we got some more racing to do before you get to the end of our second stage. Lap 50, the pace car pulls down, is in the hands of Luke Barnes and Morgan Cook as they step on the green pedal.
10 laps to go in the stage. Let's see who wants it more. Morgan Cook, again, that top line's been struggling all day long on the restarts, but as long as these guys can stay organized, they have more people in that top line as of right now. Look at that. There's only 5 guys down there on the bottom. We'll see how it all shakes out.
Either someone missed a shift or someone was sleeping or something happened in that bottom lane all of a sudden, because you're right, that thing emptied out pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we're already starting to see the effects of 5 cautions that it's having on the field without everybody having their fast repairs. Look how many cars are off of the pace. We've got like 10 guys that are on pace right now. Like, it's absolutely insane how much the damage and the cautions has affected the whole field here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, again, it could be some people just wanting to lay back as well. I think you're going to see more and more of that as this race goes on, where some drivers really just maybe have used their fast repair, and there's no point in, being aggressive on lap 50 if you think you won't be there for lap 120.
Yep, you definitely have a point there. That is definitely one of the strategies that a lot of people use in this situation. I guess I wasn't expecting to see this many people hanging back like that intentionally, and I imagine some of it is due to damage. But again, that 43 car we saw was involved with that last caution, hitting the 41 of Joey Beam, but he's up here bringing up the rear of that top line.
What's also worth noting as well, some of what may be happening, Jacob, you're not required to use your fast repair. Some drivers may be kind of, if that car is quote-unquote drivable, will tend to go to the end of the stage. You might limp that car around. It may not be running at 100%. It may not be the best car, but if you could limp that car around and kind of, quote-unquote hold off and using that fast repair, you may do that just in case something else happens in your way.
Absolutely, but again, you also run the risk of going a lap down or 2 laps down, right?
Yeah,
and
probably not in 10 laps. I mean, probably not in 10 laps, honestly, but I see your point for future in the race, yes.
Yeah, so it's a risk-reward thing. But speaking of risk-reward, that top line has already made up almost all of its ground as Morgan Cook, he's your current leader, and he does not look like he wants to give it up without a fight.
No, the Canadian is doing a great job here at Daytona, riding on around that top lane, and it appears like Morgan really loves that top lane, Jacob, because we've not seen any indication from Morgan that they're have any indication they're coming off that top lane. And we've seen them leading that top lane multiple times. Multiple drivers have pushed. At one point, Morgan was more than a car ahead of the bottom lane and could have moved down, but Morgan seems as happy as a clam, so to speak, up in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's like you were saying, right, everybody's got their preferred line. I think he wants to go up there just because he loves the momentum off the corner exit so much, and with only 7 laps to go in the stage, maybe he's just staying up here just so he's in a good position to take that final spot when the green-white checkered comes out.
Yeah, so wait and see here. Of course, stage break coming, remember, at the end of lap 60, so we'll get there, and then it's just a race to the end. No more breaks, no more things to worry about. It's just where you're lined up here for the end of this race. The bottom lane starting to move on around. Luke Barnes now has got us back around here on the bottom and is getting a big push now from, I believe that's being McCoy Benke.
Whew, yeah, he is getting an absolutely insane push right now from that whole bottom lane, but McCoy Benke right there behind him. If they leave that middle lane open and it comes down to the final lap of the stage, don't be surprised if you see Benke jump out right there.
Benke, the 20-year-old Wisconsin native, had a good month on iRacing, finished top 5 in his splits in the iRacing Rolex 24 a little bit earlier this month, so that's always a big accomplishment. I mean, you talk about wanting to win at Daytona, why not just wrap it up? A top 5 at both the road course and, even a Daytona Oval would be a great month or so of racing.
Absolutely, but as Cruncher Block once said, they ain't checkered yet, right? Still a lot of race left to run here. You cannot get aggressive, especially at this point in the race. We've already got one in the middle. That's Zach Davidson. He's looking to start that third lane.
Yep, they're doing an interesting job. A lot of cars, man, moving around. I think it's got to be just that wind is hurting. Maybe the setup. Remember, these setups are not the iRacing default setup, and then so it doesn't mean the setup is bad. It just means that maybe this setup is different than what some drivers are used to racing with. This is one, I believe, provided by the Tier 1 setup shop, which powers the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series. And on around we go here. It's still Cook, it's still Barnes. Leading's around with 5 to go at Daytona.
And how about these two, man? They've been leading those two lanes for pretty much the entire stage, right? Ever since that initial stage ended and the Rhines decided that they wanted to go pit early, right? These guys have been out front and they have not given up a lick of space to anybody, right? And as we come back around to 4 laps to go in the stage, it's looking like it might stay that way because, again, Morgan Cook's got that teammate behind him. It's Jacob Cochran in that 88. He's got a teammate behind him. He may be content to just sit behind the boss man and push him to a stage win.
Yeah, and that's interesting to note as well, by the way. The Rhines, I do want to point that out real quick, they're back in P17 and P18. They're back about 2 seconds off of the lead here. They're just marred back in, I think, that second pack. And it is worth noting they made that decision to pit, when they did, and so far they've not recovered from it.
Yeah, I mean, either that or it's like you were saying, like they're just hanging back, just waiting for, so to speak, just all the chaos to kind of shake out and try and take whatever spots they can as a result. Because remember, long season, right? At the end of the day, the main goal is the championship. This is a nice prize, especially in stock car racing. But, we all want those championships, and it's one race on the schedule, right? And getting a DNF as opposed to 20 points from a mid-pack finish, I mean, we can clearly tell which one is the better option for a long-term picture. And Morgan Cook, he leaps down to the bottom, down in front of Luke Barnes, and now both of those teammates are leading both of those lines. We'll see how the 04 responds. Yeah,
I was going to say the same thing. Finally, Cook moved to the bottom. Cook's now realizing this stage ends in only a couple of laps here, and so when you want to protect the lead of Daytona, riding out what yellow line, it's safe, right? Because that yellow line's out of bounds. You can't get below that yellow line. You can't go down there to advance your position. So right now, if you're Morgan Cook, what you've made your competitors do is have to pass you the longer way around the track.
Yep, and I mean, with his teammate up there, it looks like he is pulling the sapper job of a lifetime. Look at that. Top lane losing almost all of its momentum almost instantly, but Luke Barnes is going to hop up there. He's going to drive around Cook, and now the 88 of Jacob Cochran looks like he wants to go high.
Whoa, contact.
Oh, we've got trouble. 34, hard into the wall he goes. No caution is out yet.
There it is. It is out.
Caution now comes out, and the 34 slides down into the grass. It's unclear who all is affected at this time, but McCoy Benke certainly has a good bit of damage on that front end.
Well, we just talked about Benke, the highs and the lows, right? We're just running top 5. We're just kind of celebrating some of the successes of Benke and the run they've had, and then just like that, involved an incident here that will end our second stage.
Yep, it looks like he was the only car involved, although I could have sworn I seen somebody else.
There's definitely someone up on the wall with him. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Luke Barnes is your stage 2 winner, by the way. That will be official when they cross here, I think this time by. And so unless Barnes pulls like a Mark Martin and pits early, Luke Barnes is your stage 2 winner.
Yep, some days you're the Mark Martin, some days you're the Jeff Burton. And it looks like today, Luke Barnes is going to be the Jeff Burton.
Well, I mean, pit road's still open, but we'll see.
I don't know. That was definitely a bit of a stretch in terms of analogies, but definitely not the worst one I've ever come up with. And we're still averaging a caution every 10 laps because we're at 6. And it's lap 60 now, so...
Yeah, I mean, these two, I guess two of them you could kind of write off because they would have been stage cautions regardless. I mean, the wreck happened at basically at the same time. But yeah, we're right on board. We're 10 once per 10 laps, so I hope we're not up to 12 by the time night's over. I hope we get a good green flag, maybe some green flag pit stops. That'd be nice. But here's the replay of what you saw. Watch that red car on the bottom. This comes up and makes contact, and yep, there's a couple more cars around.
Yeah, it looks like the 2 is going to come around with some serious damage. But other than that, everybody does a pretty good job of avoiding it, all things considered. We'll see again from this angle. This is from that
Aaron Baum, by the way.
Baum just, he's right up there on top. Zach Davidson just goes all the way down, tries to get that side draft, and he just accidentally goes too far, causes some contact, and that's going to cause them to slide back up into Aaron Baum here. And yeah, those 3 are going to come away with some serious damage, as well as the 79, who we've not seen a lot of today.
Yep. So looks like we are going to assign, or not we, sorry, Race Control is going to assign the fault of this wreck to the 01, saying they came down to the 34 and sort of kicked everything off, and that will be, what'll be?
Yep, that will be the end of stage 2, and now comes one of my favorite parts of plate racing, the start of the 3rd stage. Now, before stage racing was implemented in stock car racing, most of the plate races were kind of just like this, but there's a specific, about a set of 20 or 30 laps usually in the start of the 3rd stage, especially when it comes to plate racing, where everything just kind of goes still, right? A certain stillness falls over the track. Everybody settles into their groove. Nobody wants to, for lack of a better phrase, wreck their car too early, right? And I think we might see that here. We might not, depending on how the air works out for these guys. But one thing's for sure, it's one of the things that I always look forward to in plate racing, because you can feel that tension start to rise and the big one starts creeping around. Of course, we've already seen several big ones here tonight, so we'll see how it all shakes out.
At some point, there can't be enough cars left to have the big one. You'd think eventually we're going to have to run out of cars. It feels like it's kind of the pace we're at. And again, everyone started with one fast repair, but I'd be willing to guess, I'm going to say more than half the field at this point has used that fast repair.
Yeah, definitely more than half for sure. We've seen just about all of these cars involved in an accident at some point, and with the 3rd stage starting, if you're banking on it going green for the rest of the way, definitely now would be a good time to use it. I'm also curious if there's any tire limitations. I don't think we've gone over that. I'm assuming there's not any.
There is. It's a lot. So when we talk about it, they get 5 additional sets on pit road, which for super speed racing is a lot. So they get 6 sets total. So 1 every 20 laps. I kind of just watch it out of my head, because typically with the iRacing model currently, tires are not the most important thing in a super speedway. So yeah, there's 6 sets total, 5 additional plus the one you started with is what they all started with. So I mean, unless you're taking, even if you take tires every time, tires are not the determining factor in iRacing at a super speedway currently.
Definitely not. But one thing that I was concerned about with how much sliding everybody's been doing, I'm very curious to see if that's impacted on when people are planning on taking tires and if they've had to shift their strategy because of that. But like you said, it doesn't really seem like it matters too much with the current way that iRacing physics engine kind of handles all of that at super speedways. That may change in the future, but for now, in the present moment, it looks like it's not going to have that big of an impact as we see everybody come down pit road to try and make this thing happen.
Down pit road, indeed. You'll watch all the cars. You'll see a bunch of them don't even lift up in the air. They just kind of leave after sitting there for gas. Indicates the no tire strategies for some of these cars. And you'll see some cars are going to take tires. Some need to have damage fixed. And there'll be a few varying strategies along the way here. So under caution here. Now we're more than halfway. Lap 62 of 120. Happy here with us here on Green Flag TV. And glad you're along for the ride.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting, Jacob, you talked about, for some drivers, this is when the race kind of like picks up. This is when now, there's no more stages. But for some drivers, I just wonder, every driver has that number in your head, right? That go time number, so to speak, of when it's time to go. Do you think it's now, with the trend of cautions we have, do you think maybe some people have kind of adjusted that number to, be later?
So the way that it's always worked for me, right, whenever I race personally, granted, I've never raced at a plate track in real life or otherwise, but for me, it always was very dependent on where I was in the field, right? If I'm outside the top 20 and there's 20 laps to go, I got to make a pass per lap if I want to win this thing, right? So if I know I have a car that's capable of doing it, I'm going to be pushing hard with 20 laps to go. Whereas if you're in the front or in the top 5 with 20 to go, you may be more, okay with just hanging back for another 10 laps, not really pushing as hard as you possibly can. So I think those guys in the back, if they don't have a ton of damage, I think they're going to be pushing a lot harder a lot sooner.
All right, well, watching this choose cone watching the choose process happen. Sorry, it's not really a cone there, but there's a process of the cars going by. Every car, unless you're serving a penalty, is eligible to make that choice. That happens at the start-finish line. So we'll see what happens there in that moment, and everyone will come on around and choose top lane, bottom lane. So this still a fairly newer, at least in NASCAR, rule set of this choose cone. Some leagues choosing to implement it in their own ways. I think there's still some opinions about it, whether it's great or not great, but I don't know. It happens. I'm not the biggest fan personally, but it does seem to be slowly taking over.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, I like it. I think it's a very, very unique way to spice up something that I think we can all agree, can get stale at times, right? At the end of the day, doing oval racing like in the car itself is fascinating and it's super engaging, right? But watching it as a viewer is one of those things where it's like, okay, especially on those tracks where everybody kind of gets very, very spread out. Bristol is a very good example of that. It's so much more fun to be at Bristol in person than it is to watch it on TV, and I think this is a great way to kind of circumnavigate that.
So should note up front here still Luke Barnes and Morgan Cook leading your top 2 lanes. You see them up there. The front, those familiar cars, the sort of blackish hued color of Barnes in the bottom, that green of Morgan Cook up top. Then it's Jacob Cochran, Christian Barnes, Michael Cole, Devin Curl, your top 6. So some new names are slowly working their way towards the front here.
100%. Very, very excited to see him and see what these guys are capable of. That 19 car as well, if you'll remember, was involved very heavily in that first accident of the race, and now he's all the way up inside the top 10 as the pace car is in, and we'll get ready to restart the race.
It's going to be up to I believe the Toyota of Luke Barnes to lead us here around. We'll take the green flag. It's the Toyota of Barnes. It's the Chevy of Cook. It's the Ford of Christian Barnes up in the top 5, all leading us around at Daytona.
I think that bottom car missed a shift. I think Zach Barnes didn't quite shift correctly. Either that or Morgan Cook jumped the start. Not really sure what happened there. Because seen that top line struggle all day long, but now Jacob Cochran and Morgan Cook have a pretty decent advantage coming up this side of the track.
Up this time by on around. You see a bunch of cars kind of lingering that bottom lane. A couple packs already forming. But up front, 5 cars deep, 2 by 2. But on the bottom, it's 2 cars that have broken away from that Yahoo car. And there's a big gap on the bottom.
Ooh, yeah, and it looks like somebody's going to slide down right in there. It's Wesley Lynch to take that nice big gap. And he's going to use that to maybe shoot up a couple more positions here with just under, half the race left to go. Man.
I'll tell you, I'd like to take that video of Wesley Lynch, and I'm not trying to sound as negative as I want as going to, though, but I'll have to take a video of that later and use that as what not to do when changing lanes at a super speedway. That was a very slow, methodical, kind of creeping lane change. You'll get hung out to dry doing that at Daytona. When you want to make a lane change here, it has to be a snap decision. So I sort of want to take that video and say what not to do. I'm sure Wesley thought they had all the time in the world, and in that case they did. But boy, you make that kind of slow crawl across lanes at Daytona, at full pace, and you will be wrecked or stuck in a sucker hole moving the back of the field.
Absolutely, 100%. I remember when I was watching NASCAR as a young 4-year-old kid, my dad explained it to me this way, right? The squirrel that sits on the side of the road and doesn't cross, he doesn't get hit by a car. The squirrel that crosses the road all in one go, he doesn't get hit by a car. But the squirrel that crosses the road and stays in the middle of it, he gets hit by the car every single time. You cannot be indecisive at a place like this. Now, in Wesley's defense, the dirty air might definitely be playing a factor in how fast you can move that steering wheel, but still, staying out there that long is one of those things that you just absolutely cannot do at a place like this.
What is a dark analogy for a 4-year-old. Can I say that out loud? That is a wow.
Yeah, Keith, that's my dad. But anyway, taught me the lesson. That's for sure. I tell you, I never did it. That's for dang sure. As we see Luke Barnes still leading that bottom lane, Morgan Cook and Jacob Cochran losing a little bit of momentum there, and we're seeing again all of these guys just kind of spread out. Everybody's settling into their groove, right? And that stillness that I was talking about, that tension is going to start rising up. Everybody's just going to kind of stay in position and wonder who's going to make the first move, right? And that is what we are waiting on. We are waiting for someone to decide now is the time to go, and that is when it's going to kick off.
That's Zachary King, that one car. We talked to Zach earlier, by the way. That's that one car that's now forming up to the back of that bottom lane, putting them 5 cars deep. And you see, man, just so much movement in these cars and just so much going on. And, you know, there's so many factors in these cars that it's almost hard to diagnose one, Jacob, right? I mean, you know, a lot of these, I mean, obviously all these drivers for the most part have force feedback in their rigs and their setups. And, you know, too much force feedback can throw your car around. The setup can throw your car around. The wind, you know, your lack of patience, just anything can really mess with this car. There's so many variable factors. It's hard to pick which one may actually be the root of the problem.
100%. And another thing to keep in mind is track temperature, right? We saw that it was 75 degrees out today, but as those clouds keep covering up the sun, as we get a live Isaac Brock cam right there, as that sun gets covered up, right, the track starts to cool down big time, and it's going to have different levels of grip in different spots. You're not going to have as much grip as you did before. Like you said, it's not a huge factor, but it is something to keep in mind.
The 18-year-old Corbin, Kentucky native turns 19 on Monday. Boy, wouldn't that be a great way to get yourself an early birthday present if you could win the season opener at Daytona?
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't think of a better way, right? I mean, I've never won anything in my whole life. It'd be the best birthday present ever, I tell you what.
Says he has something in common with you. Says you both play the guitar.
Nice. As you heard earlier.
Yeah, so I heard earlier.
Right.
So I'm not sure what he plays. We'll see if we can maybe get an interview later if he wins and find out later. This is 4th year on iRacing, his 2nd season here in the Mystic NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series. So won in 2025 in Michigan in the Cup cars with the different leagues. So he's definitely well experienced and had a good time. So yeah, early happy birthday to Isaac Brock.
Happy early birthday to Isaac Brock. Super excited to see how he does in this race. Currently running in 9th place as Morgan Cook and Luke Barnes continue to exchange blows for the lead. You can kind of see all these cars behind him, right? Everybody's still, whoa! Cochran got very squirrely right there, nearly sent the 00 of Wesley Lynch down below the yellow line, but they managed to hang on and keep it together to bring us to lap 70.
Still doing good, but a big moment, big scare there indeed. The last, we'll talk about Brock's webcam for a second though. You saw all the talking, and that's something that's different driver per driver, especially at super speedways. You saw Brock really must have been either communicating with teammates or just friends in a Discord or you know some platform, because I saw there's a lot of communication happening there. So maybe it's people in the race, as you see now. Christian Barnes up in P4. Doing a pretty good job here. That's the 27 car up top there, the Domino's machine. So Christian won last night in the Truck Series as part of the Mystic Leagues. Had a solid run last night, and would love to make it back-to-back victories. And he has that Domino's pizza on the front of his car.
It is definitely one of the best pizza places. I worked at Little Caesars, I worked at Papa John's and Domino's. Domino's was my favorite by far, but again, we see things kind of shaking out. It looks like Morgan Cook and Luke Barnes have swapped places very interestingly, but that top line was looking very, very shady there for a second. There were only 3 guys up there for just a split second, so again, it just shows you how volatile this kind of racing is. It seems like everybody's trying to kick it into overdrive right now as a big block comes down from Luke Barnes to prevent Christian Barnes from overtaking.
I like that you made a bold statement, like Domino's is my favorite pizza, and then tried to cover it up with the commentaries. If that wasn't going to come back to, I'm mortified that Domino's is your favorite pizza.
Well, like I said, I have experience, right? I've seen how Papa John's makes their stuff. I've seen how Little Caesars makes their stuff. I've seen how Domino's makes their stuff. I don't know. I'd rather have Domino's personally, but that's just me, you know. That's just me from my personal experience. Maybe you got a favorite pizza spot that you like or a favorite pizza chain that you like. I'm not really sure. Opinion is subjective, beauty in the eye of the beholder, whatever happens. Speaking of beholders, behold the lap traffic going to be coming up on our guys shortly.
Yeah, it definitely is coming. You saw this in front of your screen right there, and it's still by the same two. It's still McCoy and, or not McCoy, sorry, it's still Cook and Barnes up front here leading these lanes on around. We see different drivers kind of come up and help push. We've seen Michael Cole come around now back up to help push that, but that's not the Michael Cole, by the way. I'm sure it is the, but not the WWE Michael Cole. He's basically traveling home from Saudi Arabia right now. He's not in this race.
That'd be crazy if he was, though, playing from his private jet. That'd be freaking awesome. And just as the
awesome.
lapped car there goes below the yellow line, trying to avoid making any more messes. And I do also want to point out, not to jinx it or anything, knock on wood.
Oh, here we go.
We have...
Oh, I think his internet cut out. The internet punished him for possibly putting the jinx on us right there, is what happened to Jacob. But Jacob was going to say we've gone more than 10 laps, I think.
Yes, that is exactly what came out of my mouth. We have gone more than 10 laps now without a caution. So, and I'm going to knock on wood again just to be safe, right? But, yeah, so far so good. It's like I was saying, that stillness falls over the track, and these guys are definitely no less aggressive for it, though. You saw that was a big block by Luke Barnes to try and hang on to the lead right there.
By the way, something I've noticed as we're watching the camera shots, and I feel like I'm a little silly for not noticing it before, but don't be wrong, we're not anywhere near like Daytona 24 levels, but it does feel like there's a bit of a little bit of a haze rolled in here in the past few laps. It's a little. Oh, I mean, look at that.
Whew. Yeah, it is. Man, sometimes it gets so hot down there in the south that you can start to see the air around you. As somebody that grew up in Alabama, I'll tell you, it is like that pretty much all the time. Definitely not in this part of the year, though. Definitely a strange time for it to get a little steamy, get a little foggy, right? But make no mistake, that is definitely going to have an effect not only on the air and how effective or how much that dirty air is constantly changing, but it's also going to have an effect on visibility, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we'll see how that affects the field.
And it could also have an effect as well on these engine temps, by the way. This humidity and this air could be somewhat messing with those engine temps. So we'll wait and see how that turns out here. But the teammates I mentioned earlier, I want to point out again, Morgan Cook and Michael Cole have gotten hooked up on the top side. We'll see how that push goes. And right now it's going to be Luke Barnes and Wesley Lynch. Michael Cole got a lane and got it saved. But there's now a push in the bottom. They're at least one car clear of Cook.
Yeah, absolutely. And that 88 of Jacob Cochran also hasn't fallen very far. That team's doing very well for themselves right now. I think they're all trying to get up onto the same line as it stands right now. Wesley Lynch, you can't be indecisive. Get over there. We've already had this conversation one time. If you're going to commit, you have to commit or you are going to get hit by that car. And he manages to commit to the top line just in time.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, at best, pardon me, what's going to happen is you're going to get hung out to dry, right? You're going to get moved out of a lane and, into what we call the sucker hole in super speed racing. It's sent to the back, but you're right. It's likely to cause a wreck at some point if you don't make that decision. Up top now, only a few cars up there. That's going to be, I believe, Lynch, Cook, and Cole on the top lane, and basically everyone else in the top 10 is here on the bottom lane. That is not right. We're already done with stage 2. So I'm not sure where that graphic came from, but we'll put that away and save that for the end of the race.
Oh, man. That'd be cool, though. That'd be cool.
I think our producer went to New Jersey high schools and can't do math, I think.
Oh, man. Well, no, because I thought Mississippi was the worst, because we were always 49th in education, and we always bragged because we were beating Mississippi because they were 50th. So.
Fair enough.
Oh, my God. Speaking of getting left behind, Wesley Lynch, he just gets absolutely sent out of the top lane, and now he's all the way back down in 9th and falling fast. So see right here on the... Is this a replay?
I don't think so. I think we...
Is this live?
I'm not sure. This is live. We're live.
We are live, coming at you live from Times Square. Just kidding, not Times Square. But as you can see, like we were saying earlier, all three of those guys, they're linked up on the top line, and it looks like they mean business. They come back around. Still trying to get a little bit of momentum, but I think they're going to need one more car if they want to get that push to the front. Morgan Cook is fighting as hard as he can, getting pushed by Michael Cole and Jacob Cochran. This will be an insane story to start the season. All three of these guys coming 1, 2, 3. But if Luke Barnes and Christian Barnes have anything to say about it, they're going to do their best to prevent that. And I think Christian Barnes, if he has the space, might jump out in front of him here.
Yeah, oh boy, and there's a lot of lane movements, and that's part of why I think the high lane has a hard time in iRacing working sometimes, Jacob. It's not because it doesn't work, it's because you get drivers like that who, it's sort of a, I guess you might call it instant reaction. You need to have that, like that instant, I want something to happen now kind of moment. You don't want to wait for the momentum to build. As now the 8 moves up, and he's got Squirrely.
Oh my goodness, he saved it. Cochran got on the brakes, and now Lynch is making his way back up to field as well. Things are getting dicey up here at the front of this field. Nobody knows quite what they want to do, but Alex Pollock seems fairly sure as he hops up to that top line and makes it work.
Yep, definitely does. So we got one of those three teammates out of lane, by the way. So we're still 3 cars up top with 1 car lingering way on back, but whew.
Yeah, man. Gosh, they don't even give you a second because you already saw Zachary King and that 27 car get loose down there on the bottom. It is getting dicier and dicier as we keep this race going. We've got more lap traffic. I believe that's multiple cars, too. That could potentially become an issue.
Yep. So right now the leaders are, and I like this part, by the way, the leaders right now over the Irish voice chat are directing those cars. What I think the leaders should do, they're taking charge and asking them. I thought I heard them ask them to stay down low, which I'm a little surprised by, but if that's where they want them, that's where they want them. Everyone's going to move up. They're going to pass those lap cars and then go on by, but it's going to create a bit of a scatter here at the front of this field, I do believe. Watch this here. We're going to pass these lap cars. They're going to stay on the bottom. They're going to move up. Now, what will happen for this bottom drivers in the bottom, it's easier to suck them back in the draft like this. When you pull back down, you're going to almost instantly have new drafting buddies. Right about there.
Pollock's going to stay high, though. So he dove down to the bottom to take the lead, and now he's going to give it back up here to Luke Barnes, and Christian Barnes is going to get behind him, and those guys all on that team have now been hung out to dry. There's nothing that they can do. They all get separated, and it looks like Zachary King, who we talked to earlier, is going to make his way up to 5th.
Yep, you see the 51 of Morgan Cook right there in that green car, the white and green machine. He's having a good ride. There's the Domino's ride. We talked about that earlier. That's what's happening. All big wreck in the back.
Yep, we got Zachary King, I believe that was, who just went up into the outside wall. He got turned, not sure by who, but we've got more damage getting tagged as the 48 and the 9 car as well. That's Holston in that 48, and you can see that is a devastating moment for him. He is not happy. Can't say I blame him. Don't think that was his fault.
If you could read lips, that's all I can say. You could read lips, so we'd have to put a censor on that. That's all I'm saying.
I'd love to be a fly in that Discord channel right now. My goodness.
They always say a picture with 1,000 words. I think I've come up about 1,000 words that I think Zachary King said in that camera shot right there.
100%. I can tell you
some
what
of them,
I'd be saying.
Some of them are 4 letters. Some of them are 5 letters.
Yeah.
Maybe a 7 or an 8 letter in there. I'm just saying I can almost hear some of those words.
Yeah, so man, there might be double digits in terms of letters, but Zachary King, unfortunate way to hit the halfway point of this race, or just over the halfway point, excuse me.
Right there.
We'll get the replay on it.
So someone pushed Michael Cole, and then Michael Cole pushed Zachary King, and then push the pusher kind of moment.
But that 10, what had happened was that 10 pushed the 43, right, of Michael Cole, and then Michael Cole tried to connect it to that back bumper of Zachary King, and I don't think that it wasn't square. I don't think that was the issue. I think Zachary King was just going too slow. He needed to check up. He needed to slow down, but the 10 was not letting him, and as a result, now both of their races are over.
Here it is. They're just catching King, and just,
that was a shot that the 10 gave the 43, too. That is not a light impact. Whew. He gets tagged by the 9 as well, and the 48 just comes in for good measure. Yeah, I don't blame him for being upset.
And that is going to likely end King's. I remember King told us earlier they had already used their fast repair. So that likely is going to end Zachary King's evening, if not completely, at least of having any kind of competitive shot at winning at Daytona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with you. Not out of thing just yet. This thing can always turn into the 2020 Clash, man. We got several laps to go, right? I think we got 37 laps to go as it stands right now, right? And with pit road being open, that does stand to change. So definitely a lot of race left to run. Don't go anywhere just yet.
Yeah, don't go anywhere at all. That said, though, I think we're going to go somewhere for a second. If I get the nod in my ears, that's still the plan. I think we're going to step aside and hit a couple iRacing commercials. You won't miss anything. We're under caution here due to a wreck involving the one and other cars on track. We're back at Green Flag TV after this at Daytona.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You know, everywhere else I kind of get it.
All right, and welcome back here at Daytona under caution, working now lap 84 of 120. Derek Watson, Jacob Calder here on the call for the opening night of the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by the Tier 1 Setup Shop. Christian Hill is pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good. There you see the M&S Welding and Repair LLC 300. In fact, at Daytona is the race we're having here tonight. So Jacob, here we are now 2/3 of the way done with this race. Positive or negative, what stood out to you so far? Let's start with the positives. What are the couple of positive things you've noticed about this race so far, or the drivers?
Man, every single one of these guys wants to win this thing is so bad. You can always tell when somebody wants to win, and I think that pretty much goes saying for anybody who hops behind the wheel of a race car, real or fake. But let's just be honest, every single one of these guys wants this thing very, very bad, and they are driving the wheels off of these cars to try and make it happen.
I think the one positive for me is that car on the outside. That 51 of Morgan Cook has been up front for a long time, and it feels like since Morgan found the front of the field, Jacob, it's been impossible to peel them off of the front of this field.
And I mean, rightfully so, right? It seems like he has just set himself up for success in terms of setup. I just realized we have 251s in the field. He has set himself up in terms of where his teammates are, his car setup, pit strategy. Seems everything has gone him and his team's way so far here in Daytona. Let's see if they can maintain it for another 35 laps.
They can, and see what does happen in the next 35 laps or so, and if need be, even a little bit of overtime here in this very foggy looking at Daytona International Speedway. And we always call it a simulator, and I guess it is in a way. We just saw the big fog at Daytona last week. We're seeing it again here tonight. Pace car makes a left-hand turn. Now, once again, stop me if you've heard this before, green flags in the hands of Luke Barnes.
And, oh, I think the 43 forgot to shift. Did you see the big hit he just took from that other? And now he's super slow on the bottom line. We could potentially see a big momentum shift right here.
Big possible shift coming here. See a big gap behind Cook. That's not good news. The 8 needs to get there quickly, as does the 21 others, and help cover that gap. Now a gap on the bottom, so things will even off here pretty quickly, and Cook may be able to take the lead here back before turn number 3.
It depends on if Pollock wants to dive down into that gap, try to be second on that bottom lane, but it looks like he's just going to let things ride out, and a big block from Morgan Cook, perfectly timed, and the 21's going to try and dive down to the bottom lane as well. He hasn't committed all the way, now he does, and we will see that top lane shift all the way down thanks to that misshift from the 43 at the start of this lap as they round turn 4. Morgan Cook is still your leader.
So it's Cook on the bottom leading, and then Alex Pollock in the 8, that Bud car, then it's Isaac Brock, the 21 car on back to 1 Euro focus on that 3rd car back lane. They've now taken over the lead here. They've moved Luke Barnes back to P4.
Yep, they definitely have, and I don't think he's very happy about that. He's been up front all day long, definitely for the past 45 laps. And once you get up there, you get used to being up there in that nice clean air. You definitely don't want to give it up, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. He's fighting hard to try and keep that position as we see guys swerving all over the place. But for the most part, things have settled down.
Now there's Luke Barnes. Now this is sort of a reimagining of the race, because now it's Cook on the bottom and Barnes up top. Barnes now is trying to get a push from those cars on back, but they've not lined it up correctly yet. No, Barnes is trying to side draft, but not doing it correctly. Anytime you're making contact, you're not side drafting.
Yeah, we saw Zach Davidson do that earlier. That led to either the 5th or the 6th caution of the race, where he tried to side draft, just went down too far, connected with somebody's door, and just caused people to slide up the track. So you got to be very, very careful that when you side draft and that car starts getting light, when it gets in that air, right, you absolutely cannot let it run away from you, or you are going to cause a big problem.
Here we now working lap 87, coming to start at 88 here soon. That number 21 car on the bottom is having a great run here and doing a pretty solid job staying up front. And then it's 2x2 on back. You'll see Michael Cole, Cochran, Stevenson, Christian Barnes, Derek Jewett, and more back through your top 10.
Absolutely, and these guys are all guys that have really, really good cars. We've seen them prove it time and time again all the way throughout the course of this race. The question is, who has the mental and physical endurance to wheel that thing around there for another 33 laps? It is going to be a grueling affair, but it's like I was talking about earlier. Right now, that kind of stillness, that kind of tension is going to start rising, right? That tension is going to start rising. That rubber band effect for those guys in the back, they're going to start kicking it into high gear first, and we may see some pretty crazy stuff go down here in the next few laps.
Riding all along at Daytona, want to see who can be the first to win this year in the 2026 campaign of these B cars. Remember, of course, we talked about in opening the broadcast, Jacob, they've gone through a name change and multiple in the past set of years, right? And we've commonly known them now as Xfinity cars. That's been this title sponsor, I think, for about 10 years of these cars. Of course, they were nationwide cars. Some of us are old enough to remember the Busch cars, the Grand National cars, but now they're becoming the O'Reilly Auto Parts cars. And well, I guess in a couple weeks when we open things at Daytona in real life.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for that. Obviously, we've got the clash at Bowman Gray with the Cup Series cars as well. But I'm excited to see what they do with the branding for them and see if there's any kind of design changes that are going to come out last second, or if the drivers say that they might feel different as well. Because if you remember, the transition between Nationwide and Xfinity led to a lot of not only cosmetic changes, but a lot of changes under the hood with the way the charter system works now and all that stuff. NASCAR is going to have complete control over what parts get out and how they get built. So it's very interesting to see if O'Reilly decides they want to change anything. But regardless of that, we'll be entering lap 90 as they come around this time.
Of course, that clash you mentioned under question right now has already been moved to Monday now at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's already been moved off the Sunday date, and we'll see what happens. The weather as affecting a lot of the country, affecting out in the areas of Bowman Gray, and we'll see if that race. I'm not optimistic that race ever happens, honestly. We'll wait and see. Maybe Monday night surprises me and we get it kicked off, and it'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern supposedly. We'll wait and see if that does happen. But what we're waiting to see right now is, can two cars up top beat a car about 12 cars, right? You see there's two cars up top. The 27 is the pusher. That's Christian Barnes. He's pushing Luke Barnes. Can these guys at least stay competitive till the help arrives? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're making them a pretty good name for themselves so far here. Luke and Christian Barnes have been bumper to bumper, rail to rail all day long, and that 27 has been pushing that 04 very diligently and very well. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can hang in there. It looks like help is on the way. That is Wesley Lynch, and then we've got that other 51 car. I'm trying to find it on the thing. I don't see it anywhere, so we'll just say the other 51 car is coming in as her reinforcements. Looks like it's Tyler J. Stevenson from the looks of the scoreboard.
Yeah, I do believe so as well. Boy, and there's you know, something to talk about. Oh, I was going to talk about, that's a great camera shot that proves it. I was going to say those bright cars at that number 51 there with that sort of seafoam green colored car. If this were real life, this would be important for the spotters there, Jacob, because those bright cars are easier to stick out in this weather. And by the time I said that, we went to a different camera shot that proved just how foggy this track is. So, yeah, it's interesting here. I mean, this is just how much fog there is. Any car, by the way, I can guarantee you up front you may be fine, but I bet if you're more than, let's say, P10 on back, if a wreck happens up front, I'm not confident you could see that wreck right now.
Probably not. And again, this camera angle that you're seeing right now is like we're saying, this is from the tower. This is what the spotters are seeing, right? You try picking out the 27 and the 04's differences from this angle. I will wait. I mean, that is a very, very difficult job to perform, especially in these circumstances. So hats off to the guys who are helping their drivers out here tonight.
Yeah, so spotting, of course, a feature in iRacing that is available to all users. You can always hop in a spot a friend or crew chief a friend, and maybe not the most commonly used feature, but boy, a good spotter, a good human spotter of Super Speedway is worth their weight in gold.
100%, like especially when you've got this stuff this kind of racing going on right here as the laps tick down more and more. We are going to see them get more and more aggressive, and that spotter is going to become more and more invaluable as they come back down onto the back straightaway.
In fact, I can tell you right now, the 8 of Alex Pollock has Evan Janik up in the spotter stand.
Nice.
And the 82, if they're still in the race, has Dylan Rose up in the spotter stand. So there's a couple live spotters in this race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Alex Pollock is all the way up into second, so I'm definitely not surprised that he has, for sure. You're going to absolutely need it with the way that these guys have been driving today. Not a good thing, not a bad thing, just a thing, part of racing, especially out here at Daytona. But it's like you're saying, that high line is just having so much trouble staying organized, and the 8 gets loose, and can he keep it together? He does keep it together. Alex Pollock with a save of a lifetime, and he prevents a massive accident here at Daytona, although it doesn't seem we're done quite yet.
Oh, no, we're not, because look on back, that was Derek Jewett in that green car, and he slid down the track quickly, but all appears to be good as well. Boy, it's funny, we just talked about how the 8 has a live spotter. I bet that spotter perked up really big when that slide started to happen, trying to coach him through it, walk him through it, and he apparently was successful, because that Bud car, the 8 car, is still pointed forwards at Daytona.
It's a gorgeous paint scheme, by the way. Definitely one of my favorite ones that I've seen out here today. Yeah, for sure. Definitely inspired by that old DEI style of paint schemes. We see these guys, they're just swerving all over.
I see, he got indecisive.
3 wide in the middle. Mama ain't raised no coward. Now we're talking. Yeah. All right. Here on
Michael
lap
Cole
95.
had the lift, by the way.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't say I blame him, right? It's either lift or die. You really don't have many options in that situation. Whoa. Speaking of that, somebody just took a trip to the inside, and it looks like he's underneath that double yellow. He's going to get back up onto the track, but it is getting worse and worse out here in terms of just cutting it very, very close. And we still have over 26 laps to go.
Yeah, these guys really don't know that based on the way they're racing, do they? I mean, we say that a lot. We say 26 laps, and it's not a lot. I mean, we're returning, 48-second lap times. It means probably we're done in, let's say, 20 minutes of racing, right? You have 20 minutes from now to make a decision. You have 20 minutes from now under green flag conditions to do something to affect your race. The time to wait is over, right? What's that, you got to go.
Right. You're absolutely correct. And I think if we think about this through the lens of another Daytona race, right? Let's take the Rolex 24, for example, right? If there's 20 minutes left in a 24-hour race, everybody's kicking it in high gear, right? Everybody's using everything they got left. And I think these guys are kind of in the same mentality as like, if it's not going to happen now, it ain't going to happen. So I got to make it happen. And we are seeing that in the way these guys are driving.
Still seeing some good side-by-side racing. We're watching Isaac Brock. He's back to P10, P9, by the way. Remember, at one point he was up there towards the front and riding around, and he's got shifted down to the back of this lead pack. Up front, it is Luke Barnes, Christian Barnes, Morgan Cook, your top 3. Wesley Lynch is up there in the 00, that red, white, and blue machine. So let's take a look here and see. I mean, again, within iRacing's parameters, the bodies are different, but the cars are equal. And that's why you see, by the way, your top 3. Hold on, don't come back to that. Trouble in a wreck.
Oh my goodness, the 88 got loose on the bottom, exiting turn 2, and there was just nowhere else for him to go but up the hill. I think he got into the 48, I want to say, of Holston right there. No, it was the 25.
25.
Oh man, that is unfortunate for him. Yeah, Thornton, just very unfortunate. Luckily for him, it seems he's come away with minimal damage, and another caution will come out. That's the 8th one of the day.
Let's watch the replay here, and I'm hearing some arguments saying, hey, I just got turned. Let's see what happens here. Watch on the track, and let's see towards the, I think the bottom of your screen where it's going to start here. Not our best
I want to say
angle.
that this starts with the 88. Wait, hang on, the 51's in the lead here.
Yeah, nothing there. So
I don't think this
maybe we'll
is
pick a
it.
different lap and we'll see what happens. Here's gonna be our wreck, I think. Watch this one here.
It starts with the 88, I think. Do they make contact?
Run him
Oh,
over.
I think they do. They do make contact. And then the 88 gets loose, and there's nowhere else for him to go. Can't hang on to it, and well,
ran him over.
You know, I will say,
watch this.
What goes around comes around, and what went around eventually came back around, and yeah, it's unfortunate for the 88 of Jacob Cochran, as it looks like somebody plowed into the back of the 25 at Thornton there.
That's the unfortunate part, right? This is that argument against the whole, like, you know, policing yourselves thing. Sometimes is innocent bystanders get caught up in some of these things, and I'm not saying there was intent. I'm not saying there was anything malice, but you know, you ran someone over. You could have lifted. You could have maybe not bumped him that hard, and then, you know, someone else innocent got involved in rear-ending that car and during this caution.
Yeah, I will say, though, despite that, I am still a very, very big believer in a very hands-off approach in the sanctioning body. Boys, have at it. That problem will most likely solve itself because, as we see, it leads to a lot of wrecked race cars and a lot of people being very upset. So most of the time, people want to avoid that sort of thing.
Well, what this is going to lead to is probably our final pit stops of the evening. 22 laps to go on the track. This should solve any kind of concerns you had in your head about gas and fuel mileage and whatever have you. Short of any more cautions, Jacob, this is our last pit stops.
Yep, and it looks like everything is going as planned for a couple of drivers. You got one guy with damage right there on the front. I want to say it's the 41 of Joey Beam, who is still in this race despite having a severe amount of damage and a caution earlier. He is still in this thing, and we're going to have just under 19 laps to, or excuse me, just under 20 laps to go when we come back green here.
You see a lot of cars sitting here on. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think he's in the race. He hasn't left pit road yet, so I think he's retired, actually.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So you see a lot of cars sitting here on pit road, and this is all going to be drivers who are just trying to get damage fixed, or some cars who are just retired, a mix of either or probably, by the way. But you'll wait around and hey, as long as these pace laps are, as a driver, you hate them, right? These pace laps will last forever under caution. Roughly, I'd say about, what, a minute 45, maybe 2 minutes. But if you're trying to get your car fixed up, boy, these pace laps are great.
Yeah, very much a blessing and a curse at the same time. And I think these guys are just thanking their lucky stars that this happened at the place that it happened at, because now you've got a lot more time to get that damage fixed and to get that thing back out on the road. And who knows, maybe you might luck into a Kyle Busch moment from, I believe that was 2010 at the Firecracker 400 when he zoomed past the field after coming back behind the pace car. Looks like we're going to wait on these guys to get doubled up. We might actually be able to see the choose cone here. Looks like guys are setting up for it as we get ready to see it. Yeah, it looks like so. Again, you can't really see it from this angle, right? But the choose cone is right before that start-finish line. See, it looks like it's going to be... Is that Zach Davidson down there on the bottom, all the way from the beginning of the race? And it looks like somebody nearly just went sideways trying to get to it. I don't know who that was, but yeah, so there's your choose cone stuff, and they will be going green this time by, I think. Yep, looks like it. Pace car lights are out, and it looks like leading that bottom line is going to be Barnes, and then leading that top line is going to be Wesley Lynch with Morgan Cook close behind him. And if you remember, Derek, or excuse me, I don't think it's Derek. I don't know. I can't see the scoreboard right now, but that 45 car is definitely from way long ago, right, in the race, and he has made his way all the way back up here to the front as well. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see shake out. We got a few cars just kind of hanging around at the back there, but for the most part, it looks like this is where everybody is going to lock in. Derek Jewett. So yes, I was going to say Derek Jeter, but I was like, that's not correct. It was Derek Jewett. And then Morgan Cook, the lone Canadian in the field. Tyler J. Stevenson in that other 51 car. And we've got Michael Cole behind him to round out your top 6. And it is looking very, very dicey right here as we continue racing. It is very likely we will see another caution come out before the end of this thing, but that is neither here nor there. Devin Curl, who we haven't heard a lot from tonight, he's all the way in 10th, right? So he's definitely having himself a good night.
Yeah, Devin Curl's up 14 spots on the evening. Maybe we can take a look of our biggest movers of the night, but I don't know if we've done that yet tonight. We've been so busy wrapped up in the racing action. There's a bunch of big movers here. I see a plus 18, by the way, I think it is, for Alex Pollock. Look at that, Christian Barnes up 30. Derek Jewett's up 27, and there's a lot of positive movement in this field as we're back to green flag racing here with Christian Barnes leading us around for the first time.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to do a dang good job of it, too. That bottom line got a big jump right there, and there's a massive gap. Does anybody hop down there, I wonder?
Wait and see what does happen. It looks like mostly there's some gaps, but I don't think it's car size gaps is the problem. Right now it's Wesley Lynch up top, Morgan Cook, and then Michael Cole up there all together. I see the 8 car back there, and hey, it looks like maybe the fog is starting to kind of, oh, never mind. That one camera shot looked hopeful, but I do think the sun's coming out. It does look a little brighter here, so we'll see if maybe we get some of the fog to kind of burn off here in these last 18 and 19 laps. But side by side, they're going to be here. That's the 00 of Wesley Lynch. He is trying to take the lead here, and they'll see what happens here as we start to wrap up this race at Daytona.
And look who he's got behind him. It's Morgan Cook being pushed by teammate Michael Cole, right? Those guys have been on fire all day long. Can Christian Barnes keep up with the momentum that tie line is going to have? And also keep an eye on Alex Pollock, right? He has been very, very aggressive here tonight. We see some guys already getting loose up there up top. That's going to stall their momentum going into this turn.
You see it now on the side of your ticker board. You'll see both the positions gained as well as the nationalities of the drivers that they have picked per their iRacing flags. You'll see there we have a couple Canadians, and at least one Canadian. I think I saw a second one. Maybe I saw that, but now a Canadian's up now leading this race in Morgan Cook, and just trying to dominate the field here. That big bright green machine is now leading their way around here to end lap 102.
Yep, he has been flying around the high side of this track all day long, and I think he is just trying to make sure that he can do it for just 17 more laps. Excuse me, not 17, 19 more laps.
Well, side by side again. This is what we're going to see about the next 19 laps or so. Jacobs, just more of this battling and more lane changes, more aggression. And the question becomes, is it someone right now we don't see on the list? Is it someone outside of the top 10 that ends up winning? There's still lots of racing. There may only be 17 laps to go, but there's a lot of time for someone to make a move.
Yep, the only lap you have to lead is the last one, so that is very much a possibility. The question now becomes who will strike first and who will break first? Who will make the decisive move to the bottom or the top? Who will take the gap that just barely exists? Those are the questions that are being asked, and we are soon to find the answers as Wesley Lynch, well, looks like he wants to block that high line for now, but again, he just hasn't quite committed, right? And that has been an issue for him all day long.
Lynch has moved to the bottom, by the way, and is now up in front of that Domino's number 27 car, Christian Barnes. That puts Cook again leading the outside lane, and I wonder for Cook right now, we've seen Michael Cole pushing Cook around this track multiple times. And listen, some people in racing are good pushers, some are good pushies, for the lack of better words. I just wonder somewhere in my head if those two were ever to flip it around, if they were to maybe have Cook push Cole, I wonder if they have more success.
Absolutely, and it's definitely a valid thing to wonder for sure. I doubt they get into that orientation at this point in the race. It would take a considerable amount of chaos for that to happen, which is definitely not, not out of the ordinary for a place like this. But I think with the way these guys have been driving, everybody's kind of calmed down just for a bit right here. Everybody's looking, but nobody's committing just yet to these crazy moves. But as we get into 16 laps to go in the race, that is sure to change any second now.
Yeah, I would suspect it could change any quite second. That's important to talk about. Some people really are more comfortable pushing. Some people are more comfortable being pushed. I'm a pusher myself when I do super speed racing. I don't like being pushed. I think it takes, I guess, more trust than I have in some people to get pushed around the track. I prefer to be the one kind of controlling that push and knowing how aggressive it is. Oh, speaking of aggressive, there's into the wall. That was Michael Cole, and no caution. There it is.
I was about to say, the amount of debris that just spit out onto the track, there better be a caution, and we're going to have another one coming back round. Looks like 48 went down pit road. He might get a speeding penalty. We'll see how that goes.
Wow.
4 went through pit road. My goodness.
This is going to be a hard hit we're going to see in this replay here. Michael Cole, meatball repair flag, by the way. So that conversation about drafting may be over, but let's see what caused this wreck in just a moment here. And we'll wait and see if we can find
I think it was another bad push.
I this can be the case. Here's the replay. Walk us through it.
So it looks like Michael Cole,
yep.
he gets pushed. You cannot push on the exit of the corner, especially when somebody's about to go down that hill. You see him hit the outside wall, and then Tyler J. Stevenson right into the grass. That's Alex Pollock, the one who will most likely be at fault for that accident, and he's going to cut right back across the nose. Hard impact into that outside wall. It's an unfortunate way to end the day for Michael Cole.
You'll see a few cars get down here into the grass. You'll see him heading down the track. I think I heard a report maybe one or two to even hit pit road to try to avoid this wreck. Here's from Pollock's point of view, by the way. Watch this. It's going to get closed up there. It just doesn't lift. Gets a little bit, the tiniest of bumps. That's the hard part of this, right? And here comes the wreck right about here.
Yeah. Especially with this, with the iRacing physics engine being so finicky when it comes to super speedway stuff, right? That right there is not as egregious of a bump as I was expecting. Right. So they may not pin this on him. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, either way, unfortunate series of events. Yeah,
and again, when you look at it in real time, I mean, it's hard, it's almost hard to believe that does it, and it is part of these uneven bodies, right? I suspect if this was the NASCAR Next Gens, the Cup cars, I bet that doesn't cause that because of the way the bodies are laid out. It was the tiniest of boops, if you will, that caused that to go around. Watching it further back in the field here, though, and there's just going to be the 51, the second 51 gets turned around and touches pit road, so that's going to be a penalty unless they clear that. Whew. I suspect they will, by the way. That's not the 51's fault, so.
I don't think so, no. That's Isaac Brock in the 21 who tagged him. We'll see what happens as we get back up here. Looks like, now the question becomes, right, do you pit here?
No. It depends on where you are. I mean, I don't know why, because, I mean, I know that some of the drivers have said with this setup, it does eat some tires a little bit more than normal Daytona, races, but, like, if I'm up front, if I'm Cook, Lynch, Barnes, Jewett, Luke Barnes, top 5, I think you would need like a crowbar to pry me off the track right now. I think it would take a lot of convincing to get me down pit road. Unless you said, hey, we mucked up your fuel strategy or something. Like, I'm good. If I'm somewhere back in the field, maybe 10th on back, maybe 15th on back, maybe. But I think it's position dependent.
Yeah, 100%. It is definitely very position dependent. It's also going to depend on gas, right? Because not everybody that goes down pit road gets gas every time. So there might be some guys in this field that are low on fuel right now. We have no way of knowing until we see them run out.
Yeah, I think everyone's potting good on fuel with that pit stop that happened with about 20 to go under yellow, plus this yellow. I think fuel is not the problem. The tires and the grip you may want more of, but at a certain point you have to ponder the risk versus reward of just how much time is left, right? I mean, every caution needs 4 to 5 laps, so you have to ponder that and make wise decisions.
It looks like everybody here is going to be taking your advice. Nobody coming down pit road so far, and I don't think that's going to change in the back either. No, we got a couple.
That's not the case. You know what? Let's find out what's going on in this driver's head. I see that Wesley Lynch is in one of our communications rooms. He's the driver up in P2 currently. I'm going to grab Wesley Lynch under caution. And we're going to grab a chat and welcome in Wesley Lynch into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Wesley, you're having a great run in that red, white, and blue machine up in P2. How are you feeling about this race?
I feel okay, man. I'm just hoping we can get the last 13 laps right here to go green to see how it plays out.
So I have to tell you, through some of the drivers' communications tonight, either in private or just through the YouTube chat or elsewhere, we're kind of hearing that this setup has been tough tonight at the Super Speedway. Do you feel that way?
I just feel it's a little loose, but I mean, I think if you can get some open air, you have a little bit better handling. But it's not too bad.
All right. Well, go ahead, Jacob.
I was going to say, speaking of air, when it comes to the difference between air and air, how jarring is that compared to the normal cars?
I don't know, because I haven't run these too much. I run more Cup than I do these, but I just know you get a little bit loose if you get close. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we know you're about to go green here, and so we're going to put you back down with your teammate in Kenneth Goldman, and we'll see if we can talk to you after the race as a winner.
yeah,
Good
man,
luck.
appreciate it. Thanks.
That is Wesley Lynch, driver of the 00, and so he just says it's a little loose. I think that's not a surprise, Jacob. We've seen the quote-unquote little loose all night long, so I think that's more of confirmation of what we already knew.
Yeah, 100%. I'm still unclear on whether or not it's being caused by the dirty air and just the weather at the track, or if it's the setup itself.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yep, either way, it is what it is. Morgan Cook takes the green
Oh.
flag, and we're going to have some beating and banging at the line. That Domino's car, the 27, did not get moving. Either they missed a shift, or we're in the wrong gear, or something happened, because that 27 car is falling back like a rock.
And look at that top line. That top line is completely devastated. We may have a one-lane race to the finish here. Just keep it steady. Keep it steady.
We're hearing
Look
there
at
may have been a wreck in the back of the field. By the way, no caution from race control. And we're going to keep green flag racing on from here. Morgan Cook's trying to hold on to that lead. You got Wesley Lynch, who we just talked to. They've now moved up, by the way, and lead that top lane. And they are coming on around here, try and lead here a lap at Daytona.
Yep, and look who's pushing him. It's Luke Barnes in that old car. We haven't seen him in over 40 laps, and now he's finally made his way back up to the front when it matters most.
Do want to welcome our viewers from the IEL SRA Truck Series. They had a great race over there. Michael Gudger won. Happy you're now along with us here for the ride here for the Mystic Racing League Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by the Tier 1 Setup Shop. Derek Watson, Jacob Kohler on the call. Christian Hill pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good behind the booth. We're now less than 11 laps to go at Daytona. Morgan Cook, Derek Jewett, and more leading us around the field.
Absolutely, and again, Morgan Cook on that bottom lane. He's been up in the front all day long. Can he stay there? Can he bring it home for his team? Michael Cole, who was involved in that accident, that last one that just brought out that last caution, he's all the way back up into the top 8. How in the world has that happened?
And boy, you got to think right now, if you're the rest of the field, the last thing you want to do is let Cook and Cole link back up. It's sort of the old NASCAR DEI problem, right? The last thing you want to do is let them get back together. 10 laps, so you see the graphic on the bottom right of your screen. 10 to go at Daytona.
Look at that big gap on the bottom. Does Barnes try and hop back down in there if he has the opportunity to? That 54 of Brandon Willard, we haven't really seen a whole lot of him here today, but he's put himself in a very, very good position, provided the cards go his way. Still a lot of swerving up there in that top line, but they still have the momentum as they enter 3 and 4.
Entering again here in his side by side, 2 by 2, whatever analogy you want to use. I use the ants marching in, as the old song says, and Wesley Lynch almost got a bump that sent him up the hill, and he was running up that hill, but he'll be good here. Out of it, a car in the wall. That yellow and black car, and they're going to be good here. And I will say, good news, it feels like the fog is barely lifting towards the end of this race at Daytona.
Yep, looks like it. Keep an eye. Oh, the 54. Look at that. That's Brandon Willard, who got his left tires there on the bottom yellow, or the double yellow line. It's going to that bottom lane, losing a little bit of momentum. And with them coming down the hill off the top lane, Wesley Lynch might get an opportunity to go down the bottom here. Does he take it?
Jewett, on the bottom. It's on the bottom. He's going to get it saved.
Hey, can he keep it in going into the corner,
Yes.
though? We're looking at these guys now.
Be wide.
As we go back up to the front pack, the 70. Oh my goodness! And we do have trouble. One sideways. Will he keep it out of the wall? So far, so good. But we do have one on the outside wall. More trouble. Unclear if caution is out.
It is.
And it is. The yellow lights are blinking. Caution comes out, and we are seeing one more caution before this thing is done.
At least one more, right? Boy, that caution felt like it took about 20 seconds to form, right? I mean, it was nothing at first. It was just Jewett getting it loose and off the track and back on the track, but it just felt like that thing was just kind of a slow cooking recipe, didn't it? It just kind of kept trying and trying and trying, and eventually something happened. I saw a car go around, and we are under caution here with less than 10 to go.
Yeah, I mean, again, they looked like they were keeping it out of the wall, and funny enough, that's our pole sitter, actually, Tommy Ryan, who came away with the most damage right there. You saw that 45 of Derek Jewett go down below the yellow line, but I don't think that is where the accident started. Looks like things are getting squirrely up there towards the middle of the pack. It's still not clear. Smoke comes out. Still hard to tell. 99 sideways, and that 7 car, my goodness. Wow. He slammed into that wall hard.
I think this is 7 car. You're right. That is Chad Allen, who just smacked that wall like that. And, geez. Let's watch this. Here's the beginning of it. Just a bump right here. They see Jewett good to the bottom of the track. He takes his good time. Great move by Jewett. Got himself back up on the track when he had to. 3 wide here, but everyone has never settled, right? Everyone has kept getting squirrely and loose and nervous and kept moving around. You see the 34 moves up, touches a 99, and it all kind of kicks off from there.
Yeah, I think the 34 was just paranoid of Derek Jewett potentially getting loose as he came up the track. He was trying to give him as much space as he could, but unfortunately, he gave a bit too much. Tagged the 99, and as a result, the 7's day is now over.
Well, you know what? If you're having fun tonight on Green Flag TV, I have to tell you, we are not done in the next 7 days. There's so much racing coming up here. Let's take a look at our schedule in just a second, see what's upcoming on the channel so that you can subscribe to the channel and find out what is upcoming. It's Monday. We debuted another new series. The Belgium Sim Racing Federation takes the Clio Cup cars out to Branch Hatch Circuit. That'll be on Monday at 2 in the afternoon. Then the Collegiate iRacing League, their Cup Series, comes back for its 2nd week of the season at Chicagoland Speedway, along with the High Tide Racing League. They're at Richmond Raceway on Monday night. Tuesday, Aspire, that's an IMSA style league. They're at Watkins Glen in the middle of the afternoon at 3 p.m. along with the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, along with OMSRL. They're going to be at the Mexican Grand Prix F1 track with the NASCAR Cup cars. And then Wednesday, the premiere of this year's Premier Sim Racing, the Outlap Motorsports Truck Series, kicks off with their Daytona duels Wednesday night. And that's not it for the week, Jacob. There's races every night of the week up through, I believe, next Saturday evening. So it is a busy schedule on Green Flag TV, but that's a great set of races there. I mean, the NASCAR Cup cars at the Mexican Grand Prix, the IMSA at the Glen. I mean, the Cup cars, you said you were happy about Chicagoland coming back. There it is Monday night. So if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. There's great racing every night of the week. Lots of great features to see. And we're happy you're here with us along for the ride.
Absolutely, but if you had to circle one, I'm circling an Aspire race. I got a buddy of mine in that league who says it's shaping up to be one of the best races of the season. And what better place to have it, right? Watkins Glen, such an iconic track, such a great track, right? It's such a shame they don't do it in F1 anymore. But man, what a great week that this is going to shape up to be. Not only for Green Flag TV, but for racing in general, right? Everybody loves watching cars go around on tracks and just absolutely slug it out to see who the better driver is.
That league on Monday, that Belgian sim racing, they're going to race the Clio Cups. That's different. You don't see a lot of that now. Racing of people racing the Clios in the league. So we'll see how that goes at Branch Hatch. But you're right, lots to see here and lots to happen along the way. And there's still lots to see here as well. We're not done. The laps may be ticking down, but with the green-white checker possibilities, who knows what's in store here for us here at Daytona.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of the Clio thing, one of the other things that about is that if you ever find a league that does MX5 races, those are so much fun to watch. Those little cars are bad fast and they're so durable and they're so much fun to drive. So, you know, the MX5 leagues, they're very, very underrated, very, very niche. If you get a chance to watch one of them, go do that, 100%.
Yeah, we have something similar next Sunday with Pace. They run the GR86s, which is almost identical. Well, not identical, but as far as racing wise, they're close to the MX5s. You'll see some great racing out of that league as well. So yeah, lots of great stuff happening here. And again, tonight we had this race here. We had the Caswell Glass Company Series powered by Tier 1 Setup Shop. We had the SRA Truck Series is already finished up today. So lots of stuff going on. In fact, next weekend the VSCA comes back for our 2nd race. They'll be at Long Beach with the IMSA cars for a 2-hour and 40-minute race. So lots of great racing action happening all week long. Well, let's focus back in here and take a look at your top 5. It's Luke Barnes, Wesley Lynch, Morgan Cook. You see Brandon Willard's up there. League admin's up in P5. So lots going. Pardon me, I look at my button there for a second. It's going to be Harold Tucker III, by the way, up in P4. That's a new name.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't heard that one all day today. But it's like I was saying, right? The only lap that you need to be in the front for is the last one. And he has certainly mastered that technique, as it were. But as we go green here, the pace car is in Wesley Lynch on the bottoms. Luke Barnes up top. Bar for bar, band for band, as we are green again. And they shake a little bit in the restart zone, but so far so good. Top line is organized. Barnes gets the jump this time. Really dive down in front of Cook. There's a big gap there. He could potentially make it happen.
It could make it happen. He does, in fact, and that was a wild restart because I thought I saw Lynch wiggle a little bit, and that was going to be because I think Cook tried to time the restart a little early. 5 to go at Daytona if we stay green. They're now back to P4. They're 2x2. The fog's still setting, and the visibility is tough. And right now we're getting 2, almost 3 wide racing, and 3 wide racing is hard in general. 3 wide in the fog, that's going to be harder.
Yeah, and it looks like Luke Barnes is going to go back up to that top line. He's going to let himself get pushed by Isaac Brock, whose birthday is on Monday. We brought that up earlier, right? What a great birthday present it would be to win this race here, and he's putting himself in a pretty decent position, all things considered, but Wesley Lynch and Morgan Cook are not going to give it up on the bottom without a fight.
No, they're definitely not. They're going to be right there trying to fight for everything they can, and that time by it would, I believe, have been the bottom lane leading us on around here. Now 4 to go at Daytona, and we're getting close. And you can feel it, man. As a driver, these moments right here, I can feel it not even in the car right now. It's the calamity, the chaos, the nerves, the tension, it's all boiling over. And it makes you nervous. We may not finish under green with the way they're moving around.
Oh my goodness, they are beating and banging, but everybody manages to keep it together. You can feel your pulse in your fingertips as you watch them come down 3 and 4 one more time. We've got 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 as they cross the start-finish line. Morgan Cook dives low, trying to get back into that. He's going to get taken into the outside wall. It's Luke Barnes involved, and they swing in front of the whole field. Multiple cars involved. Tyler J. Stevenson is one of them. Morgan Cook, Luke Barnes, all crashing together in the infield.
Wow.
And we have one more caution.
At least one more caution. Overtime on the way here at Daytona with the Caswell Glass Company Series. Boy, Cook has run a great race all day long, almost mistake-free, and wow.
Man, you got to know when you're beat, right? This is another one of those situations where throwing a late block is going to end way worse than just giving up 1 or 2 positions, right? I understand it's very late in the race. You don't want to lose that track position, but it's either coming 4th or it's coming 24th, right? And the option between those two is pretty clear. Like I said, everybody likes to think very short term when it comes to especially this race here at Daytona because it means so much, but there is a whole season after this, right? And I'd much rather take 20 points over 4 points, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, but it's Daytona. It's
yeah, it is. It is. It's hard. Way easier said than done. And as you see, he gets behind Wesley, makes contact, gets loose, tries to block that run from Luke Barnes, and they're going to make contact with Pollock as well. That was his hood that flew up, and then Tyler J. Stevenson also gets involved. He loses his hood, so that's 2 cars at the very minimum that are going to have a lot of trouble keeping up with the pack, and then obviously going into the wall and into each other, the 4 and the 51. So that definitely shakes things up because Cook's car has been bad fast all day, so is Luke Barnes. That kind of opens up the field, and it's an open goal for Wesley.
Yeah. I mean, good news, bad news, I think, unless I missed something from earlier, I believe Cook would not have used their fast repair yet. So
really?
I don't think so. They've had a pretty clean race. I would be surprised if they hadn't used it earlier. That said, Cook is still on the track. So never mind that whole conversation. We're just going to pretend I just said nothing because, yeah.
Yeah, if he doesn't have that bad of damage, he could potentially make his way back round here. But he's definitely going to...
Okay, being told in my ears now he's already used they've already used their fast repair. So you're just going to kind of ride around here with the car you have and, you know, hope to finish at this point, I guess. But that's gonna shake things. So Wesley Lynch, now your leader. That puts Brandon Willard up to P2. He's up 15 spots on the day. Michael Cole, Jeff Ryan is back up there in a 3 car. Zachary King's up there in the 1 again, and back in P5 with Jewett, Thornton, and others up in the top 10. Imagine this, by the way. A green white checker first off is on the board. Slightly concerning note to me, I do not see a limit on the green white checkers. So I hope you packed breakfast.
Well, yeah, I hope you packed an extra dinner right here because it's currently 4 in the morning. My neighbors hate my guts, but let me tell you what I love, and it is more racing at Daytona. I'll take 10 overtimes or 10 green-white checkers until as many as it takes to see us crown a winner.
You see, On board, by the way, with this Caleb Hunt, who also brought the webcam tonight. I want to say thank you to Caleb for hanging out back in P22 and riding along. Caleb's currently 3 laps down, but is kind of hoping to gain some spots here as these wrecks keep happening. By the up note, if we can go back all the way up to P4, a very familiar car we've not seen in a long time that I think is worth noting. It's made its way back to the front. That 3 car, that Mountain Dew car of Jeff, Ryan, has found their way back to the front of the field at the end of this race at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, and don't look very far to find his teammate either. Tommy Ryan is up into the top 10 as well. How funny would that be? You know what I mean? They led the first 15 laps of this race on 1 in each lane. They could potentially repeat it, but I think that Wesley is going to try and shut that down. And then Michael Cole in that 43 as well. He's got some damage on that left rear, but he's still fighting here.
Yep, and that fight is what's important. So here we go. Let's walk you through it. We are 1 to go. You see we're double filed cars. We're in a green-white checker. What's that mean? It means we're going to take the green flag. If we make it all the way around to the white flag, all bets are off. Race control will sit back and the wrecks will happen, and we'll declare a winner when they come back around to take the checkered flag. The other alternative is we take the green flag and we don't make it very far, and the yellow comes out and we rack it up and we do it again and again and again and again until we eventually have a winner at Daytona. So let's see what happens. I hope you're excited. I hope you have your popcorn ready, your favorite beverage. Maybe you're sitting back on the couch watching Green Flag TV on a Saturday night and getting ready to see what's going to happen. So remember, if we get the green, we get all the way around to the white, all bets are off. This race is over, and the winner is the winner.
Yeah, but again, that is provided that we make it back to the white flag. Been all night long, and the stakes being higher now than they have ever been. If you're going to make a move, now is the time. We will see who wants it more. Wesley on the bottom, and then you've got Michael Cole up there on the top. Who will be the one to get the edge going into turn 1, and who will be the one to cross that start-finish line first?
Well, time will tell. Lights in the pace car off. It's coming up out of NASCAR turn number 4. The pace car, you see with the tail lights on, is going to go ahead and make that left-hand turn in just a moment. And the field will be in the hands of the 00. The red, white, and blue machine of Wesley Lynch is in the restart zone. Any moment now, he can press on the loud pedal and go, and he will, because the green flag is out.
Yep, and it looks like Michael Cole was quick on his reaction as well. Hasn't too much time. He's got Jeff Ryan behind him. He needs that push as soon as he can get it. Remember, if you're going to make a move, now is the time. We've also got Tyler J. Stevenson moving up there, or unless that's Derek Jewett. I believe that's Derek Jewett. I believe it is. Yep, it is. He's going to move up to the top, and that's going to allow them to get a little bit of momentum. Remember, they've only got 1 more lap. They have to get organized right now, or it's going to be Wesley Lynch on the bottom with an open goal to try and win this race.
People moving around trying to find their space, and 1 car on the bottom. That's going to keep us green. No, the wrecking on the bottom, single car. Race control says we'll stay green for the moment. There's now the top lane's falling back. It's now, I bet that damaged car is going to be an anchor to that top lane. If in fact he does have a lot of damage, and Michael Cole needs a car to get up top, it does. That is Zachary King in the 1.
In the back.
Wrecking.
More on the outside wall.
Take the white flag.
They took the white flag. It's going to be over after this. It doesn't matter what happens. Race says we stay green. Zachary King surges into the lead on the outside. Wesley Lynch on the bottom, backed by Michael Cole and Brandon Willard. As they round turn 2. It's going to be close coming down the back straightaway.
We're 3 wide down the back straight in the fog. Wrecking in the back will stay green. Couple cars. I saw Cook back there. Lynch now takes the lead. 54 is pushing. We got Zachary King up top being pushed as well. This is it. Can Jewett? No, Jewett's going to almost abandon his teammate. That's going to probably end the race right here.
He decommitted. That top line's not going to have the momentum. He will. He's pushing now. Down.
No.
Chaos and cartwheeling behind him, and I think it's Zachary King.
This is going to get looked at.
King
is celebrating for the moment, but I think that's getting looked at.
Oh man, I want to see the timing and scoring. I want to see the margin.
I want to see the replay.
Came down and crashed into him from the high side. Shades of Chris Buescher and Kyle Larson at Kansas. A legendary finish to start this season, and we don't even know who won.
Yeah, race control is right. He's called the results unofficial.
Oof. They're looking.
Yeah, for now I think for now what's gonna happen probably in the broadcast is we're gonna probably have Zachary King as the winner, and we'll see if Race Control has anything to say afterwards. But yeah, Zachary King for the moment does come around at Daytona, your winner after a last trial will pass on the 00.
Whew. And he had to take it. He had to take it physically. We will review it in just a second. But Zachary King getting his victory burnouts in winning the first race of the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by Tier 1 Setup Shop. Going to win the first race of this season. So very, very happy for him if he is indeed the winner. I don't see anybody stopping him, so maybe.
Yeah, but wait to find out. Now we're in Victory Lane. A second we'll show our Victory Lane sponsor, and then we'll move on here with our interview process as well, and have a great time here, go through results and what have you. And you see Zach just enjoying that moment there with the advanced work car and having a great time, just burning it out and celebrating that win at Daytona.
Ooh, he bumped it into the wall there. Oh man, burn it down, young man. You earned it. Absolutely incredible drive from Zachary King. Was all over the field all night long, and you know, that's just one of those things where it doesn't get any better than this. This is one of those moments that you remember for the rest of your life. Nobody ever forgets the first time they win at Daytona. 50 years will go by, and I can guarantee you he will remember this moment.
Here we are in the Sofa News Victory Lane. You see the car there as Zachary King enjoying the moments and having a grand old time. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results here that are lined up, and then we'll do our top 3 driver interviews thereafter. So unofficially, Zachary King is your winner. They're going to win this race, I believe. We'll go into the intervals to pop up here in just a moment. There it is, by less than a tenth of a second over Derek Jewett. Brandon Willard will come in at P3. And then Christian Barnes and Wesley Lynch will come into your top 5. Then it's Michael Cole, Harold Tucker, Trevor Hunt, Tommy Ryan, and Hunter Rose in your top 10.
Wow. Bringing up the top 20, we've got Isaac Brock in that 11 spot, Joshua Thornton in that 25, Morgan Cook, Zach White, Devin Tyler J. Stevenson, Jeff Ryan, McCoy Bank, Luke Barnes, and Joey Beam in that order to round out the top 20.
Back in P21, you're going to find Caleb Hunt 3 laps down, along with Zach Davidson, and Alex Pollock 5 laps down, along with Reggie Kime back in P24, 8 laps down. And the rest of these cars either had a bad night or did not finish. Adam Holston, Chad Allen, Jacob Cochran, Douglas Wysocki, Joshua Gillen, and Sean Merriman back through your top 30. And P31 is Aaron Bond, Justin Miller, River Hayes, Michael Wade, Gavin Henson, Brad Nelson, Dylan Brumley, James Sturdivant, and Devin Lyons, rounding out a 39-car field at Daytona. Well, Jacob, I think it is time here to go to... let's do this. Let's go ahead and hit up a commercial break. Just after this, we'll get our interviews ready with our top 3 drivers. We'll come back with Zachary King, Derek Jewett, and more just after this on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, welcome back here on Green Flag TV. We're finishing up here our broadcast from Daytona for the inaugural race this year for the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series, powered by the Tier 1 Setup Shop. Well, it's time for driver interviews and to see who we can talk to. And let's start with the winner. Let's start with the driver, sitting in victory lane, and Zachary King. Zachary, a last trial pass, if you will, helped you win this race.
That was amazing. Yeah, I got a really good shot from Jewett. He worked well with me there from the restart, and got a little bit of a shot. Sent my car down the track with how loose these cars are. I said it earlier in my interview. Shot the car down the track, and it hit the 00, and I feel bad for him. I don't know where he finished, and I feel bad for dooring him like that. Obviously, I don't want to wreck anybody or door anybody the wrong way and rub anybody wrong. It's the first race of the season. But yeah, shout out to my spotter. He did a phenomenal job all night. At one point we were 2 laps down. Made some calls to get us back on the lead lap. So that was definitely crazy. I've never won one of these races like this way. Used to dominating. If I usually dominate a race, that's usually when I win it. But I've never won it with just that kind of a move.
Now you can say you have won that race. Of course, this year we use the chase format, so maybe not a win and end format or win and end lock for you for the season, but it's still going to feel great to have those points and the momentum after race 1, I assume.
Yeah, it's always great to have the momentum going into the next races. Obviously, we're at I think it's Phoenix next week, so that'll be a lot of fun to get back to work and start working on these cars again and start putting ourselves in good positions. Obviously, it's great to start off the season with a win. Obviously, especially with the new point format and the new point structure. It definitely helps me now that I didn't get any stage points. When I was trying to get stage points, we just kept getting into incidents. Obviously, a rough race. I'm not going to go into more detail of that. We had a rough race from the start with just mean, not the league or anything, but we just gotta clean it up on our end. And I told you guys earlier, this Meatball Motorsports Ford Mustang was lightning fast today. Shout out to all the sponsors, Advanced Work Vans, Gilbert Fleet and Commercial, Jen Blossoms Designs. And shout out to everybody that helped me tonight: Christian, Joey Beam, and Joshua Gillen. Joey was one of the better pushes I've ever seen tonight, and that was amazing to have. And I had a lot of help tonight. Shout out to my spotter, with Tyler Brunelli. He did a phenomenal job calling the race all night long, and I'm gonna keep saying that. I gotta pay him to spot me, because that was phenomenal.
Fair enough. Well,
I was gonna say, yeah, congratulations. Obviously, winning at Daytona. Smile on your face, can't say I blame you. I bet you can feel your pulse in your fingertips right about now. This is one of those moments that you remember forever. And you said you had a rough race, but it's like something that somebody very wise once told me: the only lap you have to lead is the last one. And you drove the freaking wheels off of that thing those last 2 laps. So, but one thing that I did want to ask you about, you kind of brought it up in your on-track interview, the difference between getting in that dirty air and getting in that clean air, right? And then obviously pushing is a lot harder in these cars as opposed to the Cup cars. What were the main differences between this and this track, right? These cars on this track compared to other things that you maybe have more experience with or are more familiar with?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it was definitely different. I've never been to gone to like Daytona and had dirty air in my face, or have really hard. You really couldn't push. Like, I'm used to the next gen cars and the trucks where you can push that third car as the third car in line. And every time I try to do it, it just upset the middle car and upset my car, and we just lost so much time. So that was definitely a learning curve I had to learn for this race. Which, I mean, usually I'm a quick learner at these super speedways. This is one of my specialties, I'd say. Obviously, I won the race on Tuesday. I run well every time. I finished second in the dual race last year, second in the 500 last year. So obviously, just trying to keep stacking momentum and keep building momentum is definitely the key. But just finding help. Obviously, I've been working with Joey the last couple of days, so hopefully we got a good setup for tomorrow. But yeah, all eyes are for tomorrow, and try to get 3 wins this week. That'd be phenomenal. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, it was a pleasure watching your race, Zach. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Zachary King coming home in P1. Now we're going to grab a driver who had a pretty stellar night overall, a pretty solid night up at the front of field, Derek Jewett. Derek, first off, thank you for spelling your name correctly. We both spelled the same way, so we'll start there. But besides that, a P2 run up front. How did that feel to be up there all night long?
Yeah, it definitely was different. Usually, when I come to these tracks, I usually stay in the back and try to avoid the wreck. But usually, we're the ones getting in the wreck, so it was completely different.
So walk me through the last couple laps. You got bumped out of the way down on the back straight, had to kind of get yourself back up on the track safely. And I know some stuff happened behind you, but what was that moment like? Was it just trying to lock in and stay focused? Was there fear? Was there concern? What was going through your mind trying to kind of get back on track?
Yeah, I mean, I was frustrated, Derek. Not gonna lie. I mean, like you don't push the pusher. I know Brandon is a little inexperienced. He didn't race as much last year, but that's in my opinion. And we talked in the waiting room, but that's 101 right there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it was just get your frustration out during the pace laps and try to figure out how you're gonna go from ninth or whatever I was to the front and. Fortunate enough, the cards played the way I played it. Just one more spot would have been nice.
Well, next week we go a different type of track. I believe we're to Phoenix for race number 2. What's in your mind? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to celebrating my birthday and not racing. So I have somebody filling in for me. It sucks because I do like Phoenix, but you know I got 5-6 more days of being in my 20s, so I got to go celebrate it.
Understood. Well, listen, it's a pleasure watching the race. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you guys for broadcasting. Can't wait to go back and watch it and listen to it. You know, the car was as fast as installation from Caswell Glass Company. So it was just on fire, just like Non-Typical Designs. I heard a chuckle. But yeah, Non-Typical Designs, Colton Loomis makes my paint schemes. He does an amazing job, really fast, really everything he does is amazing. So go check out Colton Loomis at nontypicaldesigns.com. Deutsch Cookie Company, CHGO, Joshua Everett's Admin Box. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of other people, and I apologize. But yeah, we'll get back to it next, or not. I guess not next week, the week following.
Thursday.
And
Oh, you'll be back the week following.
yeah. So yeah, shout out to Joshua, or not Joshua Everett, Joshua Gillen. He'll be subbing for me, so hopefully he can get a win.
All right. Well, listen, it's a pleasure watching your race, and we'll see you, I guess, about 10 days from now.
All right, love you guys. Bye.
All right, that is Derek Jewett coming home in P2. We're going to wrap up this evening here with a quick interview with our P3 driver and Brandon Willard. Brandon, a P3 run at Daytona has got to feel good.
Man, it feels great. You know, I'm not used to racing full time. Last year was our first year on iRacing, and I kind of stepped out of the driver's seat to worry about, you know, being a league owner and race control. We didn't really have our admin team set up kind of on a scheduling basis. So I stepped into the race control full time, and this year we kind of got everybody in the right place where we want them, and that opened up our Xfinity series to where I could hop back in the seat and race full time. And as soon as I got out there on the track and we took the green, I definitely missed it. It was kind of like a natural feeling, like put that last piece to the puzzle that you've been looking for so long. But we had a great run. The game plan didn't go the way we wanted. We were going to be actually a little bit more aggressive to start the race and try to go after some stage points and try to pick up a few in that opening stage. And that crash there in the first 10 laps really hurt us. I thought we escaped that one. We had to use a fast repair. Didn't want to do that. And that forced our hand to really be conservative and ride in the back. And we still collected a little bit more damage throughout the race, and but it was nothing that we couldn't overcome. And I know some folks were, you know, kind of having to wrestle the wheel. You know, I was one of them, and but we were all dealt the same card, and it definitely was a race with the track conditions changing. I know the fog played a role in it, but it was a fun race, and we just had to be there at the end. And once I told myself I'm already up here, might as well go for it. And we had a podium finish out of it.
Fair enough. It was a pleasure watching your race. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
We just got to shout out our great sponsors. Title sponsor of the race, M&S Welding and Repair. Got to thank Justin Miller and his company for sponsoring the race and sponsoring our multiple series this year. Obviously, our title sponsor of the series, Caswell Glass and Brad Nelson, appreciate all their hard work. Hudson Auto Works, and got to thank Mr. Michael Wade for making me this wonderful paint scheme. We stayed up for multiple hours until the sun come up, making sure this thing was looking sharp. And we didn't know if it was going to run as fast as how great it looks, but I think we got our answer. Heat Wave sunglasses are a sponsor for the company that I work with in real life. So bunch of other great sponsors that I know that I'm forgetting, but and I want to thank you guys as well. Green Flag TV for coming on board. We're proud to have you guys. I think we gave all of you guys a great show to open the season, and we're looking forward to continuing that throughout the year.
Man, you keep racing like that, we'll be here every time.
Yep,
that's awesome.
Well,
that's
we will see you Thursday night. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. That is Brandon Willard. Well, Jacob, that wraps up our interview for the evening. In a couple words, what are your thoughts on this race?
Absolute cinema. Did you see that finish? My God. Tell me you've ever seen anything like it. That was incredible.
Fair enough. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure bringing a race to you tonight. I want to first off say we'll be back on Thursday nights with the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company Series race at Phoenix here live on Green Flag TV. Once again, congratulations to Zachary King, your race winner. For Jacob Kohler, for Christian Hill, our producer, I am Derek Watson saying so long and good night from Daytona.